a great Friday afternoon, and on here today at 5:30, so that we could, go over the BISD board meeting together, and see what we can take from it. One of the things that I want to do as soon as it does come on is, I want to go over the agenda, and see what's being offered out there. Puro yonke, dijo aquel, and no one's going to say anything because of them not being punctual. Jeremiah, mi amor, ¿cómo estás? Hola, Trisha. Buenas noches, tardes. Saucio family, how y'all doing? Good to see y'all. It's gonna be a good day. Supposed to start at 5:30, but we'll give them a couple of minutes. Kenina, buenas tardes, ¿cómo están? And las botitas, papá. I have them in my dressing room. Hola, Cristina, ¿cómo estamos? Hola, Lupita. Buenas. Violet. Hi. Let's wait for the lies. We'll follow the agenda as it goes along. As the first start of it is going to be very, very boring as usual. Let me bring up the agenda and we could go over it together. Howdy. Howdy, Leah. See. Let's see. Board agenda. They're going to do a lot of recognition, discussion of BSD policy on ARD meetings for IEPs for special education related to August 10th. Just a lot of basic information, nothing really major going on. Morning, Mane. Hello, More. Ramiro, buenas tardes. Erasmo, ¿cómo estás? Finally get the Erasmo fixed before 9 p.m. show. Bro, anyone can stop by my office anytime they want. You know that. Good afternoon, Josh. Thank you, Josh. I hope you're doing well too. And hope you had a great first week and a good couple of days at distance learning, Josh. God bless you, Baba. Hello, Marta Alicia, hermosa sunflower. Chulo, mijo. Thank you. I didn't even try that much today. They're late as usual. Yeah. It's not uncommon for them to be late. I could fill you in on what has happened. Eduardo, ¿cómo estamos? Hello, Robert. How you doing? The one and only Erasmo Custro. Let's hear all the lies they're going to talk about tonight. Let's hear it all for ourselves. Let's hear it. Let's wait for it. Mary Lou, hermosa, ¿cómo estás? Pedro, my man, how are you? Did you see, con mi gente? There's this place that makes masks for band students for their instruments. Did not know that. Eddie number three. Does the board recite the Pledge of Allegiance to open its meetings? It does. We usually can't hear it because they don't speak into the microphone. I just want to say thanks for keeping us posted on what's going on, Susie. It's my pleasure, 100%. Sende vote Carlos Elizondo. Yes, you have my vote. Hola, guapo. Thank you, Manny. Oops. Hello, Erasmo. Hilda Hermosa, ¿cómo estás? Hello, watching from the classroom. So much paperwork to do for special education. It's crazy. Just too much paperwork. Erasmo, your smile is contagious. Thank you. Swah, swah. Kitty cat. Hey, but I have that, my old peely chair because now I have a brand new chair. Thank you, my friends, that got me this beautiful new chair. So, are we returning into September 28th face to face? Is it mandatory? I'm going to say yes. Mandatory. I'm going to say that they're going to try and do the uh, give you the option of coming on campus or or being distance learning. it's just going to be more work for the teachers and for all staff on campus. One of the things that we know is that tomorrow they're going to have a meeting, a face-to-face meeting with all the principals. Now, why they're having a face-to-face meeting with all the principals really boggles the mind, especially because one of the things that was mentioned at the previous board meeting was, they had the capability of having their meetings via Zoom or via, via some type of platform, streaming platform that they could have the meetings. Well, not anymore. And several principals have reached out to me today. We've had conversations, and principals are concerned. Principals are concerned because the order to go back onto campus and to have that meeting, even if it's social distancing, violates the county judge order for no more than 10 people gathered together. So it's kind of really tripping when you hear a superintendent and a higher up administration say, well, we have to follow the county guidelines, pero nomás cuando les conviene.
I'd like to call this meeting to order.
Oh.
We are at the Brownsville Independent School District boardroom. Today, September 1st, 2020, 5:30 p.m.
It's not 5:30 p.m., you idiot.
A moment of silence. Dr. Gutierrez, would you do us the honor?
The honor?
Sorry, but would you please read out the...
It's not an honor, you imbecile.
Please keep in prayer for the loss of life that we've had recently. Dr. Gutierrez?
Yes, thank you, Ms. Peña. Board members, would everyone please join me in a moment of silence in memory of the following employees who have passed? Beatriz Martinez, Zulema Casas Canul, Rosa Covarrubias, Maria Gutierrez, Elvia Garcia, Belinda Rodriguez Uresti, Daniel Garcés, Antonio Torres, Esther Polaris, Kathleen Jimenez, Melissa Lozano Flores, Mary Gail Drumright, Jose Manuel Alcantar, Michael Angel Garcia, Jose Antonio Cantu Reyes. Please keep their families in your prayers.
And I want to add Derek Juarez, a member of the bar.
He said BISD community, man. Did they mention Michael Garcia?
Also continue to keep in prayer Don de Leon's family for the loss of Don de Leon Jr.
Can anyone understand what in the world she's saying? I lost count. There was a lot of people that passed away.
Thank you. Ms. Lara, would you please lead us in the pledge?
Wow. 15. I counted 16, but I might have been wrong. 15.
Thank you very much.
14, 15.
Ms. Fred, would you continue with the roll call?
All members are present. Item 5, recommend approving the agenda of the regular board meeting of Tuesday, September 1, 2020 with any corrections or deletions.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Not dead. Mendigo little lady. So
Please vote.
Sylvia is there. Again, the only thing that makes sense for Sylvia to be at the board meetings is that she's cooperating with the federal government. It's the only thing that makes sense. And part of the deal for her cooperating with the government is, she could attend the meetings to finish off the term.
Motion passes unanimous.
But she agreed not to run for re-election.
Under
Which makes sense.
Superintendent's report, conference presentation 1, recognition of campus teachers of the year for the 2019-20 school year.
Dr. Gutierrez?
Thank you, Ms. Peña. Board members, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Dr. Trevino and Carmelita Rodriguez. It's exciting to recognize
The dynamic duo.
the best of the best teachers that we have in our district, and they've been selected by their own colleagues as representatives of Teachers of the Year for their respective campuses. So we're excited to bring them to the boardroom to introduce each one of them. We have a gift for each of the Teachers of the Year, and we're very thankful to have top quality teachers in our district, and we're very proud of them. And this is their moment, and for us to recognize all the hard work that they've done over the years with our BIZ students and in the classroom. So, Dr. Trevino and Ms. Rodriguez.
Thank you, Ms. Peña, Board President, Dr. Gutierrez. So our initial thought was that we would have a luncheon for our Teachers of the Year and our Employees of the Year, but unfortunately that was not able to happen. And so we bring them tonight to showcase them and the work. So we are starting a new tradition at BISD, and this year we're recognizing a Rookie of the Year. The Rookie of the Year award is a recognition to a first-year teacher who exceeded expectations and demonstrated passion and commitment to excellence. The Rookie of the Year made it look easy because for those of us who have ever taught, that first year of teaching is memorable. Our Rookie of the Year served BISD as an instructional aide for 7 years before obtaining a teaching certificate. And he volunteered during those 7 years in local community sports leagues to build his trade. His principal feels the countless hours he devotes as a volunteer made his transition into teaching seamless. In his inaugural season as a basketball coach, he took a group of young girls who had not participated in organized sports
It's the regular board meeting,
and
Linda.
molded them into the 7th grade district champion basketball team. Mr. Miguel Hinojosa from Perkins Elementary, our Rookie Teacher of the Year.
Thank you, Rick. Oh my goodness.
Perkins Middle School. And he is here with his principal, Ms. B. Hernandez.
Oh yeah, let's use gloves on everything that we touch. It's a regular board meeting. Sure, let's all just huddle together. There, Drew and Sylvia. How cute. Oh, how cute. Drew and Sylvia. It is going to take forever. Oh, my Lord. Sorry, guys. I can't take much of this crud.
Thank you, Mr. Hinojosa. We will now begin recognizing our Elementary Teachers of the Year by campus. These teachers are indeed the best of the best. Brownsville ISD employs 1,365 elementary teachers, and tonight we recognize 34 of the very best. These teachers are all amazing and make a huge difference on a daily basis. We thank them for their contributions and commitment. After recognizing the 34 amazing educators, we will proudly announce the District Elementary Teacher of the Year.
You're joking. You're going to have everybody pass?
Vermilion Elementary, Pablo Coronado. Edley Elementary, Laurencia Helms.
Yeah, we're level 4. I don't think Eddie Trevino knows what he's saying anymore. Can someone come pick up the cookies so I can stop eating them?
Hudson Elementary, Michael Padron.
It's this twerp right there. Look at that chaparrineco. Este right there. You see him? Do y'all see him? Right there.
Paredes Elementary, Monique Rochelle Keller.
Right there. Oh. Can y'all see the arrow? Párate, pingüina.
Hastings Elementary, Maria E. Schutze.
I find it amazing that they had all these people there on campus, at the building.
Palm Grove Elementary, Josefina Mejia.
You can't see him. It's that midget that's over there.
Southmost Elementary, Mary Grace Porciuncula. And unable to be with us today from Area 1, Ms. Sandra Lopez Cluster, Hannah and Lopez, we have from Perez Elementary, Patricia Young is not with us today. Also from Bright Elementary, Anaya Bustinza. El Jardín Elementary, Maria Benavides. Garza Elementary, Sandra Medina. I'm sorry, El Jardín Elementary was Marla Benavides. And Morningside Elementary, Elisa Macias.
God, her
Congratulations to Area 1
voice is so annoying.
Elementary Teachers of the Year.
Look at all these people at the BISD building. They have no regard for the virus or for county order. My goodness. My goodness. Oh my gosh, these people. Everyone is touching everything and then their face, and oh my gosh, we're never going to get out of this coronavirus.
Congratulations. Moving on to Area 2, Benavides Elementary, Ana Guevara.
Oh my gosh. And you know what? What's even funnier is I can almost guarantee you that most of those teachers don't want to be there.
Garden Park Elementary, Aleida Esparza.
Most of those people did not want to be there. I can almost guarantee you.
Martin Elementary, Maria Lerma.
He's using the same glass over and over and over and over again. Yes. They do that all the time.
Russell Elementary, Maria Garcia.
I still got some Funyuns that my friend Manny brought me last night. I love Funyuns.
Castañeda Elementary, Monica Vergara.
Hey, Peppermint Patty, stop by my office. 1240 East Madison. It appears I'm going to be here for a long time, but I got Funyuns. A long time.
Sharp Elementary, Ana Martinez. Skinner Elementary, Norma Berrenes.
Just so annoying.
Unable to be with us today from Area 2, Kelly Elementary, Cristela Rangel. Del Castillo Elementary, Maria Zavala. And Puget Elementary, Ana Rangel. Congratulations to Teachers of the Year for Area 2.
Go say hi. Again, I could almost guarantee you that most of these people did not want to be there. Oh my Lord, like sheep to the slaughter. My Lord. Oh my Lord. That's why people keep getting sick there. Yeah, and let me tell you, it's not going to stop. And what they
Thank
announced
you and congratulations. once
16,
again.
they're going to announce
Moving on,
another
with
20
item
next month.
3, we have Vermilion Elementary, Amy Nagara. Champion Elementary, Maria Romero.
Got for a basket.
Gallegos Elementary, Maria Gonzalez.
Oh my Lord. You can't make this stuff up.
Peña Elementary, Cristina Aviola Martinez.
But let me tell y'all something.
Wait,
If this is happening at the Glass Palace, it's very indicative of what they're going to want
what school does
for
he-
our schools, our
Okay,
campuses,
Peña Elementary's not
and
here?
soon our students.
Unable to be with us, we're gonna move on to Vermilion Elementary, Juan Cuevas.
No? Why? They believe it's a hoax. La Minerva says it's a hoax. A little
Vermilion Elementary,
Eddie's playing the little
Tammy
part.
Garcia. And Impilla Elementary, Minerva McGrath. Unable to be with us for Area 3, our elementary teachers of the year from Gonzalez Elementary, Cristobal Cisneros. Peña Elementary, Cristina Aviola Martinez. Villanueva Elementary, Rosa Vela. Congratulations to elementary teachers of the year for Area 3.
God, that voice is so annoying. We have the stupidest administration.
Our district elementary teacher of the year will be receiving a nice trophy, a laptop for their personal use and to keep, donated by the generosity of the Association of Brownsville Educators, Salazar Insurance, Texas Valley Educators Association, and Brownsville Educators Stand Together. They're also receiving a $500 shopping spree donated by Academy Sports and Outdoors that worked in collaboration with our Public Relations and Community Engagement Office to make it happen. Our District Elementary Teacher of the Year advises new teachers to be committed, regardless of how much you know or how much experience you may lack. Never lose your curiosity and desire to learn, because the best teachers are lifelong learners. To the public, he says our mutual success depends on strength of our community. We truly are a village trying to raise our children. Our district elementary teacher of the year believes all children deserve a quality music education, not just to inspire more generations to be musicians, but to expose as many as he can to the power inherent in music making, its ability to build community through shared experiences. it is my distinct honor to recognize BISD's District Elementary Teacher of the Year for the 2019-2020 school year from Ortiz Elementary, Mr. Braulio Amaro. His principal, Ms. Patty Garza, is here with him.
That's who she is. No social distancing. Oh my Lord, my Lord, my Lord, my Lord, my Lord. Oh my goodness. And with our luck, everyone there is going to get it except La Pingüina, Sylvia, and little Eddie, and Philip, and Laura, and Prissy. Oh my Lord. An Easter basket. Oh my gosh. Guys, I don't think I could stay here for all this time that's going to be happening. Me voy a marear.
B employs 1,533 secondary teachers, and we're excited to recognize some of the best. We will now recognize our Secondary Teachers of the Year for 1920-2020.
It's a picture moment, Elizabeth.
Estero Middle School, Edith Gano Gates is not with us today, but with us is Oliveira Middle School, Abraham Vega. Is that correct?
Teacher of the year for last year. Oh my gosh.
Bella Middle School, Eduardo Ibarra. Manzano Middle School, Andy Nájera.
Onion rings. No social distancing.
Garcia Middle School, Susana Ramirez.
Trash.
Perkins Middle School, Nereida Tellez.
Those chips are making me hungry. We're never going to get out of this coronavirus thing.
And Stillman Middle School, Antonio Padilla. And from our middle schools not with us today, Vestedo Edith Cano Gates, Lucio Middle School, Patricia Arguelles, Still Middle School, Modesto Leal, and Polk Middle School, Roberto Rivera. Congratulations to the Teachers of the Year for all our middle schools.
Oh my Lord. Guys. Thank you, Amor. It's actually Funyuns. Get some Rona and a basket. Oh my Lord. Puro turtle shells. No. Now, let me say something, guys. Do y'all really think that these people are going to make the wise decisions in regards to having our students, properly social distance once they're on on campus?
The high school
Honestly.
Teacher of the Year for Hannah Early College High School, Adriana Tobar.
Erasmo, me voy a marear, Castro. Oh, pandering the teacher vote. Nice.
Hernandez.
Are we going to have to wear gloves when we go back on campus too? My Lord, look at these crazy board members. All for a picture moment.
For our CTE program, Amelia Rogers.
I know, right? What is this? Isn't it crazy, guys? I mean, am I wrong? Am I nuts? These people are going to make the decisions of whether you come back on campus or you
Pamela
continue to social
Lecumber.
distance.
Porter Early College High School, Rolando Gill. Rivera Early College High School, Sarah Martinez.
Oh my Lord! And again,
Veterans Early College High School, Anna Mae Solis.
maybe it's just me, but pictures with face masks on, it's kind of wonky, kind of like defeats the
Not
purpose.
able to be with us today from the high schools is Lepes Early College High School, Perla Vasquez, and back Eleazar Castro, and from BLA 6 through 12 campus, Maria de Los Angeles Rosas. Congratulations to our high school teachers of the year, secondary high school teachers of the year.
Well, what's even worse, they can do this, but we can open our campuses to these wonky meetings, but we can't open our beaches. No, Breno, shut up, shut up. If I fall asleep, Avison. Isn't there a limit of people that can be in that room? Yeah, 10 according to the judge's orders, but the judge's orders don't mean
Our
squat.
Teachers of the Year received a plaque as well as a nice jacket. As we celebrate their work, we're very, very appreciative.
Yeah.
Our district secondary teacher of the year begins her day by greeting her students with, "Good morning, how are you?" Her goal is to engage and make a connection with her students, not only to target their skills academically, but set a welcoming environment that enhances learning throughout the day. Our secondary teacher of the year writes, "I get to learn about my students' background by building a strong rapport, which allows me to create content lessons relevant to them. I create activities and experiences that relate to the real world and that are applicable to the daily life of the students, which makes it meaningful as they scaffold from previous knowledge. At the same time, she prepares scholars to be productive citizens by applying their learning outside school and throughout the community. It is my distinct honor to announce the 2019-2020 Secondary Teacher of the Year from Brownsville Early College High School, Ms. Lisa Hernandez." Her principal, Miss Amy Garza, is here to recognize her as well.
Isn't it funny how a little Eddie, Prissy is like a foot taller than little Eddie? They're not going to. We're not ever going to get out of this Rona crap.
Our secondary teacher of the year also received a device from our organizations and their generosity. Again, thank you very much to the Association of Brownsville Educators, Salazar Insurance, Texas Valley Educators Association, and the Brownsville Educators Stand Together. She also gets a $500 gift card from Academy. I wish I could go shopping with you.
You don't make enough money or what? It is crazy, Michael.
Members and Dr. Gutierrez, that concludes our presentation on our Teachers of the Year.
Oh, let me tell you. That'd
Item 2,
be the best news I gotten all year.
recognition of district elementary and secondary teachers of the year for the 2019-20 school year. Where'd you go? Item 3, recognition of certificate of achievement for excellence in financial reporting. Do I have any questions on this?
No.
Yes.
Oh God.
Again, we have some great news and other staff members that we need to recognize. We're very proud of all our teachers of the year from elementary to secondary, but we're also very proud of our business office and everyone in the business department. They got also recognized by the state for excellence in financial reporting.
Congratulations, teachers.
And I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Cantu so that she can announce the recognitions that our business office received at the state level. Dr. Cantu?
Thank you, Dr. Gutierrez. Good evening, Madam President and board members. It is my distinct honor to share with you that our business office has earned 2 national recognitions. The school districts, as you know, are required to submit an annual financial report to the Texas Education Agency. And the purpose of that is for financial accountability and transparency. So I would like to share with you the first award that they are receiving, that BISD is receiving, is from the Association of School Business Officials International, also known as ASBO. And this means that BISD met and exceeded the program's high standards for financial
Congratulations,
reporting
Sarah
and
Martinez.
accountability. There's a certificate of excellence, and this also represents a gold standard in financial reporting. The second award is a Government Finance Officers Association, also as GFOA, Certificate of Achievement for Excellence. This is the highest form of recognition
Oh, pooey.
in the area of governmental accounting and financial reporting. It also represents a significant accomplishment by government and its management. So to put these 2 recognitions into perspective, last year, we don't have this year's data, but last year, less than 5% of the districts in the state of Texas received these 2 recognitions. Each staff member will receive a certificate that will be given to them individually later in the week. But at this time, I would like to invite Mr. Robledo and Mary Garza to accept on behalf of BISD our gratitude. And I would like to say that I am honored to work with such committed individuals in the business office that have earned this award. So I'd like Mr. Robledo and Mary to come to the podium for the awards.
Ah. Oh, man.
The first award, as I mentioned, is from ASBO. It's presented to Brownsville Independent School District for its comprehensive annual financial reporting for the fiscal year that ended June of 2019. This is the second award of the financial reporting achievement is given to the finance department, the GFOA, and we have a certificate, and we also have a plaque that every year there's an additional plaque that's earned, and it is my understanding that BISD has earned this award for the last 13 years. We're very proud of this recognition. Congrats. If I may take one moment, we do have some staff here, our accountants, and I would like to invite them to please, so we can take a group picture. Come on over, guys, from our business and finance office. All our representatives, please come forward. We're very, very proud of the work that you guys do. Thank you so much.
my goodness. Yes, it's just crazy, crazy, these people.
I just want to thank the business department for this recognition when they are working with a budget of over $500 million and to account for every dollar and everything that we spend in our district. It's incredible and amazing with the work they do, and this recognition is well deserved.
Thank you, everyone, for keeping us in the black.
Item 4, discussion of BISD policy EGBAB legal on ARD meeting and IEPs for special education as it related to the August 10, 2020 Cameron County Health Order.
Dr. Cantu, you want to give us an update on that, on this item?
Thank you, Dr. Gutierrez. This order that we have here is from the County Health Authority and our judge here in Cameron County. And what this means is he issued out an order that delays the in-person and face-to-face public and private school instruction, which we already know until September 28th. What this does, this order is paying some special attention to our special ed students, making sure that
Why don't you
students
follow
that
the
have
order that
medical
says that no
conditions,
more than
to make
10
sure
people
that
in a
before
damn
they're able
room?
to return to school, that they're cleared by a doctor, and making sure that the IEP committee is involved in the decision making along with the parents, and making sure that safety is our utmost priority. So we align to our county orders. This is our goal.
No,
only
you're
for our
not.
special ed students, because we don't want to treat them differently. We want all students to be safe. And so in the event
No, you
that
don't.
students do return
You
to the campus, if they need to
effing
come
liar.
back, they will be asked to
Freaking
be
liar.
cleared
Liar.
from the doctor's office before they return to our schools. So we are. in
You're a
support of this.
liar. You had more than 10 people in the boardroom.
I just have a question and regarding that order. Is that the one that was issued today? I think there was one issued August 31st.
Today's September the 1st.
This one is dated August the 10th, at least when we received it here.
Oh
Yes.
my Lord.
Yeah, I think that they
Oh.
might have revised some of the language in there to
Oh,
align
my
to the idea,
Lord.
which is a federal states that
Oh
mandates and
my
also the TA, the
gosh.
state statutes.
She's reading August 10th
Is that the
order.
new one that just came out yesterday? Or so that way we can,
Oh my
we can
gosh.
get a copy or-
Oh my.
look at it.
That is how very little communication these people have with the county health department.
Ms. Pena, is there an opportunity, Dr. Cantu, has this gone through our staff attorney or any legal?
Oh
I
my.
believe it was reviewed.
Gosh.
So they
She's
reviewed
reading August the 10th order
on the
This was
August
a-
31st.
with no concept, no clue that we just had orders from the county yesterday.
Yes, this was the one that we have the earliest. However, if there is an updated one,
Oh,
we
you
can certainly revisit it. And make sure.
Stupid,
At
stupid
the end of
people.
the day, the ARD committee will continue to make the decisions for our students.
She's talking
And,
about August
respecting
10th
the
orders.
idea,
What about
regulations,
yesterday's
and we
orders?
totally recognize that and support them.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, thank you. Just as a follow-up, because I know when this first came up, we actually had the video conference with the county judge and the mayor and so forth, that we brought it up. Thank Mr. Salazar for catching that on the resolution for us. So if we could do a
How?
follow-up on that, that would be real important because.
Oh, this is what we're paying $3 million in salaries for. $3 million in salaries for, and they had no clue that the county judge yesterday issued new orders.
There is something that was issued
Oh,
after that, like yesterday. While we're having this meeting before the end of the meeting, can you go in and research, and if it is different?
oh
then
my
it's public knowledge.
God.
So we won't let this stand, because if it did get revised yesterday,
Oh my
and
God.
somehow, if they make it inconsistent with
And do you want to believe that they have constant communication with the county health department? Honestly.
Absolutely, we can have staff work on it.
Oh my goodness.
It was actually posted yesterday, but I mean, It was signed yesterday, but I think it was just posted today, September the 1st.
Oh no,
maybe
it was
before
out
the meeting, we can
yesterday.
Kind of get an update.
Thank you so much for letting us know. I was not aware.
Oh, how could they not be aware?
A link so you can get that on your phone. Okay, because I had it over there.
Thank you, Mr. Council.
They cut off the press.
Then get off my damn page, Jesus Samantha. I don't like you either, but you don't see me trolling your stupid page. Get off my page.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Oh
Item
my
5,
God.
Brownsville Independent School District Financial Report for the period ended August 31, 2020.
Oh my gosh.
Mr. David Robledo, any questions
have any
or
questions?
any updates that you want to let us know?
Something that I want to point out.
Mr. Collins?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
We have approximately, we're paying all of our bills in our budget. We got that going. We're balanced. And then we spent about a little bit over $20 million in the COVID-19.
Oh, they're on my page,
reactions from our
Sean.
schools, and getting the same money back in.
But
that
these
we received in
people,
grants and
oh
also
my
matching
God.
But the most significant thing, I think, in this financial report this time is our fund balance has not gone down, which I thought was very good. You know, so I think the public needs to know that we still have, you know, a cushion to protect ourselves as we go through this winter. You know,
They have
I just wanted to point that out.
no communication with the county health
Thank you.
department. None. They are
Thank you.
out there
Dr. Chapter?
presenting orders from
Yes.
August the 10th.
Dr. Ms. Peña, may I
Yes.
address? Dr. Gutierrez, I do have a question. If we can go into the self-insurance fund where it's, I believe it's page 5 of 36.
It's one of the deputy superintendents. Oh my gosh.
And if I may, I could address this question to Mr. Robledo.
Hi, Mona.
Good afternoon, Mr. Robledo. How are you? Congratulations again. To you and your team. If you can just give us a little bit of, you could elaborate a little bit more on that excess on the self-insurance fund, the 3.1 million.
There you go.
It's in the positive?
Yes. So I guess a way to think of it, the monies that the district receives from either the employees or the
Oh my
employer for the
Lord.
past 2 months, we collected about 8.4 million.
Oh my
Great news
gosh.
is that we've only spent
They were
5
using the
million.
orders from August the
therefore,
10th
leaves
and
a balance of
completely
3 million
ignoring that we had
left.
new orders signed
And so,
yesterday.
just to give even a little bit briefer
No
history of the health
communication.
insurance fund. Last year, again, 2 years ago, the
Oh
district
my
did have
Lord.
a carryover loss. And so it's been something that's been on our books for a while. And so for
What was that amount?
about 11.2 million. And so we are still going through this year's audits, and hopefully when everything is said and done, the hope is that we would have a profit of about $8 million. So if we have 11.2 loss plus 8, that
Oh
will give
my
us
God.
3.2 loss. Well, wait a second. If we look here at the August report, 3.1 million profit so far. So if we were to add up from the year's history, last year's activity, plus this year's activity, we're just a little bit short, about 63,000.
No, the little
Red.
bit short is Eddie.
But then that will hopefully go away by next month.
Thank you, Dr. Gutierrez. That's great news.
Yes, I hope you understood the explanation that, because it is a little bit of we had an $11 million loss that we were in the red, but you know how we changed to the third-party administrator to Blue Cross Blue Shield, and we made some adjustments from the employer contributions. The district is putting more into the health plans of our employees so that our employees won't have to pay more from their plan. We were able to save $8 million last year. So when you have those 8 million in the black, but we were 11 in the red, we can offset it from the 11 million. So we were just 3 million in the red. But our end of the August report, which is yesterday's August report, is showing that we're now this year we're in the red. I mean, in the positive 3 million. So that offsets that other 3 million that was in the red. So we're almost at even, like zero, but it's building up now into the black. And hopefully that within the next few months, that our fund balance will be what it is, a fund balance in the black. So we're almost coming from an $11 million deficit from 2 years ago to being at zero at this time. And, building up on the fund balance to be in the black in the next few months. Does that understand?
Thank you, Dr.
Does that make
Gutierrez.
sense?
Yes, Dr. Gutierrez. Ms. Drew, and then Dr. Figueroa.
I can't even remember a time when we've heard news like that. That's excellent. Very, very good. I commend everybody involved. That's great news that we're at that place with our insurance. Thank you.
Dr. Ray?
Thank you, Ms. Peña. Just congratulations to Dr. Gutierrez and the insurance department, Mr. Robledo, your insurance department, Dr. Cantu, everybody. It's a team effort. I know you've really instilled that, and I think that's definitely paying dividends at this point. Remember, we always said, though, as a board, that as soon as we started seeing some savings, we'd look at how we could make sure that we turn those back to our employees. So hopefully that'll be the charge for the next insurance department, the next insurance group of board members. One other thing real quickly, Dr. Gutierrez, I had requested a report or an update on the tax delinquent services, the funds, and I didn't see as part of the backup. So is that something that's going to come at a later time, or when will we get
I'm
a
looking at
status?
perhaps at a later time. Right now, I'm still evaluating that, but I'm considering it perhaps at another meeting at another time. That's what I can say.
I'm sorry, we're a little muffled.
I'm sorry. That I'm considering it at a later time. I didn't bring it for this meeting. I'm still evaluating that situation due to the fact that we're close to an election, and this RFQ has been tabled twice. So I'm still trying to evaluate this. It may be something that the new board may want to take on. I know that the current tax attorneys are going on a month-to-month basis, and so we're working with that practice of going on a month-to-month basis with the current tax attorneys.
Let me ask a follow-up question, Ms. Peña.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, two follow-ups, Dr. Gutierrez. One of the reasons that I had sent the request for you to look at was just the concern that we may or not be in compliance with going month to month without a contract. So we're good, then I'm okay with that. But if not, I would suggest that it get back on the agenda for us to be able to vote on it, as soon as possible.
Okay, thank you.
No shame for that
And
woman.
I also want to thank the insurance department. Robledo, thank you so very, very much. It's very difficult. I'm so glad that you're out there looking at the people that want to do business with us to make sure that we get everything that is fair for the dollar. We don't get overcharged and pay for things that are not necessary. Thank you for being very diligent and making sure that you keep our budget and our funds in the black to be able to help our employees. Thank you, and stay on top of that, because the more we save, the better off we are. Mr. Cowan, and then
And I want to commend my fellow board members because
Oh.
we faced this, we, directly confronted what was happening. We put more money
Yeah.
in. And
Great job, board member.
I mean, it took courage to do that. We took a lot of flack from people that didn't like what we were doing, but we got the result we wanted. And so we have a secure, self-funded health insurance program that will last. I mean, we were losing for the first 2 years that I was on the board, we're losing 14 million a year. The third year, 11 million, and now we're going into the black. And it looks like we'll probably save about as much money as we were losing, same amount to 13 or 14 million dollars. So in total, actually, the difference is, what we were losing before 11 million was about another 14 million. It was like about 26 million, 25 million dollars that we were actually,
Sylvia has it.
way out of whack on it.
Oh, Sylvia took it.
Ms. Brown?
Oh, I just wanted to give a shout out. I see him in the audience, Dustin Garza, our insurance administrator. Good job, Dustin. Thank you.
Oh, shut up, Drew.
Thank you. Moving on.
Item 6, review of policy update 115, policy review, section E, F, and G, and DEC local policy, second reading.
Okay.
It is an embarrassment.
Dr. Trevino.
It is an embarrassment for the
I'm
community.
sorry, but Dr. Ventura,
You have
did
all these
something
people
before we
there.
move on, or-
They're not even prepared.
Sir, whenever you are ready, I do have the information on the county
Had
order
you
and the
clue
differences of.
in regards to the order?
Whenever you're ready.
Is the board okay? Can we go ahead and do it right now? Would you please present? that?
Amen.
Okay, then right after that, Dr. Trevino with item number 6.
Yes.
On the policy.
Mr. Cowan, thank you for sending that summary, and also Dr. Salceda for providing the copy. So the changes is on the order listed August the 10th, on page 3 of 6 or page 14, on paragraph 5, you will see that there's a statement that talks about
It
the
is
decision
disgusting.
of placement for students must be done on a case-by-case basis. But then it goes into and talks about also based on medical, healthcare centers, the Center for Disease Control. So it lists a lot of agencies that are going to be making decisions. And the correction that he made in today's release is he continues to state that it's going to be made on a case-by-case basis, but it's based in accordance with the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, Section 504, Title II with American Disability Act as applicable by state law. So what he did is he took all the listing of the different entities that were going
Yeah,
to
you should have
make
been
decisions
prepared.
and brought it back to.
That's what you
the
get paid
state to do.
$200,000 plus for. Stupid. Infuriating. And no one called them out on it.
Just clarification from the August 10th, but nothing, no changes other than.
Oh,
Yes, on paragraph 5,
Yeah.
Dr. Gutierrez, on page 4 of 6 of the order, he went in, the original order, it included a lot of people making the decision for students' placement. Today's correction that was released today clarifies that we must follow the IDEA regulations, both federal and state, and the laws with Americans with Disabilities Act. So it brings it back to focus on the agencies that regulate special ed.
Back to us.
Her own
to make
words.
those determinations.
That is correct, sir.
All right, okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
in her own words.
I have a quick question kind of on that subject, because the order says, September
In her-
20.
in her own words.
Oh, shit. The 28th, is that correct, Dr. Cantu?
The 29th.
It is the 29th, and he released a press release, an immediate press release that's dated September 1st, where he summarized the change.
And I just wanted to bring that up because even though there's a date there, that date is put on there for the public and the schools and the teachers and students to prepare in case it happens. It is not saying it's gonna happen, because right now this is a living document. What we're going through right now changes from day to day. So if people hear, oh, we're going back, no. They want us to go back, hopefully everything will be better, but rest assured that superintendent and administration and everyone in the district will not go back to face-to-face till it's 100% sure that we do not put our students or our children at risk. But
You're having
like I
a,
said, it's a preparation in case it happens.
they're having a meeting tomorrow, you
If it doesn't
imbecile.
happen,
Face to
that's okay.
face
You have
with the
opportunity to
principals,
do that it does.
imbecile.
That is not to say that that day it's gonna happen. Am I correct when I say that, Dr. Gutierrez?
Yes, ma'am. And let me read the order since we just got it hot off the press.
Oh my, hot off the press.
Page 3 of 6.
Shut up!
And,
Does it hot off the
I'm
press?
gonna read that paragraph.
It was ready
On
yesterday.
restrictions,
Hot
paragraph
off
A
the
on
press.
restrictions,
I posted it!
A1, page 3 of 6, A on restrictions, number 1 says, school systems shall not reopen schools for on-campus face-to-face instruction until at least September the 28th, 2020, unless extended in writing. This order may be extended if there continues to be substantial community spread of COVID-19 in Cameron County as that date approaches. So that paragraph outlines it that right now we have the orders until September the 28th for no face-to-face, and it may be extended as that date is approaching and evaluating how the COVID spread is in our county.
Thank you for clarifying that. Thank you, Dr. Conti.
Madam Chair,
Mr. Coward?
I just want to make a point. Dr. Fauci made a comment about it's an area where there's a very low incidence of COVID. It's safe to reopen schools. I have 4 grandchildren that are doing face-to-face instruction, 2 of them in Georgia, and 2 in Sherman, Texas. I have another 2 that aren't a baby, of course, but that are in Irving, and it's too dangerous as the numbers are high. In Cameron County right now, we've gone over 20,000 cases, and the country of Korea has had 17,000. We're going to reach 593 people have died in Cameron County, and country of Korea doesn't have 400 dead. I mean, we're worse than the country with 60 million people. I mean, we're not ready, and it looks like for a while we will not be ready. I know you're going to be putting in requests for further waivers so we can stay off campus, and the data is going to drive whether we get the waivers or not, but I feel comfortable that we'll be able to keep this digital virtual environment going for a while until we're safe.
I think we've already brought in that waiver to submit to TA, those additional 4 weeks. And so we've already done that, and we will now are required under TA starting this coming week
Hot
on
off the
Monday
press.
or
Oh
Tuesday,
my
September the 8th. We are
Lord.
going to be required by TA to submit weekly COVID-19 cases in our district. I believe the TA wants to also start evaluating all the districts throughout the state, and so we're going to be required on a weekly basis to be submitting reports on COVID-19 cases that are occurring within our districts, because that's going to drive the
But you're hiding
decision-making
them. You
as far as when are we going to open face-to-face.
And, I know that I saw something on Facebook where McAllen had a special meeting this afternoon or at noontime or something, and they went and asked for the waiver we've asked for a long time ago for the continuation, so we're actually ahead of the game here. And
No,
we're
you're
doing
not.
Stuff as well. I'd like to point out some of the numbers real quickly. In Hidalgo County, 1 in 20 people, 1 in 20 have gotten the virus or had it. In this county, it's 1 in 30. So in this room right now, there's one person with a virus, if you were to count by that number. It's frightening, I mean, it's...
Well, right now, you all had like,
And God willing, we'll get through it safely.
oh, shut up, Minerva.
Yes.
You don't even believe it
Yes,
exists.
everyone, God willing, we'll be safe and healthy. Thank you, Mr. Carmen, for reminding us. Next, please. Go ahead.
Dr. Trevino, I think we've been waiting for her.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Gutierrez. The second reading, I just want to update the board on the changes after we had our policy committee meeting. So with policy BDF local, that is the one dealing with the SHAC committee, that every board member would have the opportunity to nominate somebody to the SHAC committee. So that has been updated as of this afternoon, as far as with TASB, so they could give us a draft copy, and it is in the board book. Okay, with BBB local, that one is dealing with the method of voting being plurality vote. That was approved by BISD back in February the 12th of 2019. And so TASB just updated our policy. No action needs to be taken because the board had approved that back in February of 2019. So they've just updated the policy. Regarding FDA local, this one is dealing with the superintendent having the authority for inter-district transfer approvals, and that language remained as recommended by the school board. FFD also was a policy that the board felt that we needed to keep, and so it will not be deleted anymore. This one dealt with the vehicle and car permits. FM, this one is dealing with the no pass, no play. We have not had time to review this one further with our athletic department to see what's in the best interest of our kids. So that one right now remains as TASB recommended, but we want to leave it open to have further discussion with administration and with athletics to see what is in the best interest of our kids. And then when we bring it back, hopefully next time we will have more clarity on that one.
Oh my
Dealing with
Lord.
G&E, this is the one with the SACS accreditation. We just made the update. We are keeping that policy and keeping the new name as SACS accreditation has changed to Cognate. EIE, this is dealing with RTI, although we have it in our procedures. The board recommended that we just go ahead and keep it in policy and all that language on RTI in the policy. EIE, this one was dealing with our ranking, and that was just allowed to match our current practices. So that one is now aligned to our current practices. DED, this one is dealing with the children with disability. And we included the language of all employees because that's the practice that the ISD has had in place for multiple years. If there are no questions, or I'll entertain any questions that you may have on the update on the second reading for policy.
Mr. Cowan?
Just for clarification, because I think when we had the policy meeting, we were looking at this meeting be the first reading, but actually the policy committee meeting itself is the first reading. And normally we could vote on this tonight, but there's so much, there's 900 pages, and I said, no, we're gonna have another meeting, possibly another meeting in between now and, like, we're gonna have a meeting coming up on the 10th.
Yes, sir.
With TASB, we can have a meeting, a special call, and vote on that at that time. It gives us 10 days to review these policies.
My Lord.
Tweak them and make sure that we're comfortable with it. Just want to make sure everybody is comfortable moving forward. And at that September 10th meeting, they're going to bring the next set of policies, and that'll be the first reading that maybe we can have available for the October meeting when we vote on it for final, and we'll have our policies upgraded.
If I may, Ms. Pena,
Yes, please continue.
just a reminder that on September 10th, just like Mr. Cowan said, we do have a policy committee to review policy A and B with the board at noon. Looking forward to that, and we still need to review A, B, C, and D with the committees.
Dr. Atkinson?
Yes, thank you, Ms. Pena. May I address Dr. Gutierrez?
Yes, ma'am.
Dr. Carino? Yes, and I went ahead and handed out a printout, and I only had copies enough for the board and one for you. But Mr. Cowan had brought up a question a few meetings ago about the possibility of being able to work through requests by employees if they had their children already assigned to that school. And I know that it was something that we said we would look at, but probably wasn't something that was going to be possible at this point. Well, Dallas ISD announced last Thursday in a widespread release that they're actually going to be allowing that through a regulation. It's a DH regulation, and that's basically employee welfare for the district. So I just wanted to make sure that we get a chance to look at that. Administration looks at that. I do know that there are several Facebook groups in the thousands already that are posting. Several districts are actually looking at that so that the teachers, unfortunately, sometimes the teachers, because they're also parents, are having to choose between continuing as an educator or taking care of their kids and homeschooling and doing these pods, these pods that are basically popping up all over the nation. And so if there's any flexibility that's allowed, that can be pursued. I think Mr. Cowan, you brought that up. It was a good suggestion. And I think that other districts, especially at Dallas ISD, is looking at it very carefully so that they can safeguard their employees as best they can. So if that's something that maybe the board can look at, please pursue that as an option. Then I have two questions real quickly on the policies that were stated by Dr. Trevino. Can I continue, Ms.
Yes,
Bennett?
please.
Okay, the one on BB, you said it was approved by the board on February 12th, 2019. What was approved by the board?
The board approved that the policy, or as far as the method of voting, that it was plurality.
Okay, but that was the existing policy, has always been plurality.
Well, at one point, the board approved something on February the 19th based on the minutes that we found from 2019. Although TASB was like, well, that's what you had, so why did you vote on it? I don't know. Based on the research that we could find and the minutes, it was approved, even though it was already in place before that.
Excuse me, real quick, let me take it out here. That, the minutes that you're referring to, the minutes would have who made the motion, what motion was made, who seconded the motion. So where did you find that, Mr. Dr. Trevino? Yeah, that's what, so I think he's asking.
I think, just want to make a point. I think your point is we have never had anything in policy ever in the history of the school system where we would have majority vote. And the board never voted for that, never did anything. If TASB put it on our webpage or whatever, that's their mistake, not ours, because the board never has that. And in 2018, and you were here, somebody did try to present it and the board stopped it. So it never changed,
And that's what I'm trying to make sure it's stated for the record, because that was a pretty contentious meeting. And that got voted down, but for it to be said that we approved it, the change back to it, that's the concern that I have, because it gives the, perception that, this was changed
Listen,
by
guys,
majority vote.
Why does she care so much about the
And
election?
that's out there. We need to dispel that, because that never happened. And maybe.
Why is she so
maybe we
concerned
can
about
have
the
either,
election?
Mr. Salazar, Mr. Salinas say something to that.
Why is she so concerned about the
If I
election?
may, Dr. Sylvia, there's a motion here. Okay, there was a motion. It says, it's part of the minutes. Motion made by Philip Cowan, second by Laura Perez, and unanimously carried to recommend approval to collaborate. I'm sorry, that's the wrong one. Recommend approval to adopt TASB policy update 109, 110, and 111, local and administrative recommendation miscellaneous policies. And in the body of what we were discussing, it says, Mr. Erasmo Castro, board members move to say yes. I make the motion. Mr. Philip Cowan, board member, said, I second that motion. Dr. Atkinson, board member, said yes, and Mr. Cowan second. And Mr. Cowan added, hopefully the next time it won't take so long to run this to council. He also made a comment, I just want to thank council for putting in imperative language that there is that language in there that would shall and all the stuff where they need it, because this is very important.
Why is she so concerned about the election?
Are we ready to vote? And we voted on it. And the motion was made by Mr. Castro, second by Mr. Cowan, and it carried unanimously to recommend approval to adopt TASB policy update 109, 110, 111, local administrative and administrative recommendation miscellaneous 7 through 0.0. And so it had it all where it gives the pages amended, page 322 will be replaced 322A, and 340 replaced 340A, 361 replaced.
Why is she so
361A,
concerned about the election?
352, and 53 will be deleted from the backup. So there was a discussion and a motion made for this information, and the policies are in those that I mentioned, which is update 109, 111, and 110. Ms. Sylvia.
Yes, Ms. Pena, and I understand that we had updates on that day and they were approved, but we're speaking to the prior action of the board when it was presented, and it was a different board at the time that took action, to ensure that it was not changed to majority vote, that it stayed plurality.
Correct,
And-
you're
and-
correct.
right.
Mr. Baltasar, can you speak to that?
Yes, that's correct. I think that the update did say plurality, but the superintendent at that time brought the word majority, and they wanted it to basically change it from plurality to majority, and the board said no, that it's going to stay the way it was. I think what happened was TASB went ahead and uploaded. Unfortunately, they uploaded the update with majority, and it should have been plurality. So it was a clerical error. This district, like Mr. Cowan says, in the history of Brownsville Independent School District has always had a local policy of plurality. So they didn't vote to change it to plurality. They just voted to keep it as plurality, and it's always been plurality.
As Dr. Atkinson said, that was a pretty contentious meeting.
Yes, it was.
We were pretty
Yes.
hot under the collar for somebody even trying to do that.
Yes, and then, and like I said, the people that were there were very attentive and realizing what was trying to be done was not something that was discussed, that was agreed upon. So I thank those that look at the detail, because everything's in the detail. Everything on this planet that we do is in the detail. And I'm glad that we're clarifying that the way it was done, and it wasn't done by the board that sits down, it was done by a previous board.
Other thing, and Mr. Council, you can correct me if I'm wrong, it's only policy if the board approves it. And not, if somebody, if it's published the wrong way or anything like that, that's not policy. It's the law. When the board approves it, takes action, and we enter it. And that's what is going to be followed.
Well, that's part of the reviewing these policies and updating them, because like we said at the last time, there's been some policies here that haven't been updated years. So we're working on it to bring it all up to date.
Yeah,
And that's exactly what we're doing. It's going to take us time, but we're moving on already in the right direction.
Yeah, and one thing to my fellow board members is that Dr. Trevino and Dr. Gutierrez and the staff that's involved in this, we're gonna also do one other thing, kind of audit what's online, because some of those policies, have not been updated in quite a long time. And TASB, I think, does the updating and stuff like that, but they're not totally accurate either, so, we're gonna start take a lot closer look at that,
Dr. Atkins?
Yeah, just the last one is on the FM policy, Dr. Trevino. I think you made a reference that y'all were going to be talking to athletics about this. And this is the no pass, no play being applied to all other non-UILs. So athletics has to follow, that's the UIL rules. But in terms of getting guidance from athletics, I just would hope that we are bringing in fine arts, we're bringing in the campus principals that deal with those non-UIL student activities for input, because it's not going to just be the AD or the people that are typically involved in UIL activities to be able to provide guidance, because we have so many non-UIL activities and student groups that rely on us making sure that we try to keep it as uniform as possible.
Yes, ma'am, without a doubt, we won't discriminate against any of those other groups.
Dr. Gutierrez, could we look at this, whatever Dallas did on the DH, and see, we have, maybe address it at the September 10th meeting and run it by TASB? Because I do have some concerns, teachers are parents and they have children and they have to figure out some way to, take care of their children.
Okay.
And I want to piggyback on that because
Piggyback.
the commercials.
Oh, she's always
right now, all
pre-banking.
anyone can do is get on social media and TV. That is it, because you can't go anywhere else. And they're hitting it big with getting these parents to get on and get with these companies. They're doing online teaching. They've been doing it for 20 years. And they're out there selling lists like this is the best thing. And I want to make sure that we do the best for our students. So when it's time to come back, they're ready. And they don't fall victim to the fear of what's going on. Because yes, we have to be very cautious, very conscientious of their needs. And at the same time, help those parents that don't have anyone to be able to take those children to, help them as much as we can. And I want to make sure that what we do, we don't get so stuck doing things right that we forget to do the right thing. And the right thing is to look out for the employee and the student. That's priority. Because I might not have the needs or the troubles that other people have. Just because I don't have them doesn't mean I can empathize with them and make sure that we work with them because we need them. Please.
Ms. Penny made a final comment on this, I'm sorry. A few years ago, and I think Ms. Brown was probably the best one to remember this, and Ms. Penny were on the board at the time. Dallas, we as a district didn't have full-time, we didn't have full pre-K 3, we didn't have those programs. We actually went to a conference, and when I was administrator with some of our board members, came back, got a chance to visit with the Dallas ISD group, and we came back with a way to just mimic what they were doing to be able to provide full-day pre-K 4 services. And then we started rolling pre-K 3. So sometimes, it doesn't take, we like to beg, borrow, from our neighbors, especially our big urban districts, because sometimes we have those lobbyists and those people that are looking at ways to be very creative with the funding sources. And so I think this might be a good opportunity to look at what they're doing very closely, and try to see how that can apply to us. And I know Mr. Garcia is good at saying sometimes they're recommendations, but let's see how we can curtail it to us. That's exactly what needs to happen. We're not at Dallas ISD, we're a lot better than they are, but at this point, it gives us a chance to really massage it.
Not with you there,
and see how it can apply
Rata.
to us. So I want to thank you also for being open-minded about that. Thank you.
Yeah, and to segue on what Dr. Atkins is saying, we've already done that with the administrative policy concerning last in, first out, and that thing that we made a sea change there, and that people are going to now carry their seniority. And I admit the Dallas people in policy in some of the areas when I was up there at a law conference this past February, I think it was February, and they were very helpful, and they even wanted to invite Brownsville ISD to be one of the 25 people that would kind of have an interchange, because they're trying to, compare ideas and things like that. And Dr. Trevino has followed through with that, and we've seen some good results from it.
The next item is the public comment period. Persons wanting to address the board during public comment shall, before the beginning of the meeting, print their names and the subject matter on the sign-in sheet provided at the entrance of the boardroom. Speakers are allowed a maximum of 3 minutes. Our first speaker is Sergio Zárate, virtual.
Thank you, Dr. Trevino, for your presentation.
Can I address the thing now? Okay. Thank you. Madam President, Mrs. Minerva Peña, members of the board, Superintendent Dr. Gutierrez, I want to just publicly thank you on behalf of our organization down by the border, our more than 6,000 children that are of special needs that you service, and on behalf of the families that love them very much. We want to thank you for the support of item number 4 that superintendent on the superintendent's report. We did reach out to the county judge and members of the commission and the attorney for the county that we did have some reservations about the mandate as it was first put out. And luckily, cooler heads have prevailed, and it has been changed. But more so, when I first reached out to Mrs. Dr. Tipton and Dr. Gutierrez, they very much wanted to talk about this, and they also saw that this particular mandate had to be readjusted. So it has been done. I again want to thank you as a board that you support our children that need your voice, that need your support, and thank you for that respect that you give not only themselves, but those families that love them very much. I thank you, and thank you for the time that you've given me.
Thank you, sir. Our next speaker is Veronica Borrego, AOBE, virtual.
Hers is the other one.
Can you hear me? Okay, perfect. Good evening, Superintendent Dr. Rene Gutierrez, board members, and board president Minerva Peña. Can you hear me? My name is Veronica Borrego, and I am the proud president of the Association of Brownsville Educators, AOBE, the largest and only chartered local in BISD. I come to you today as a teacher, grateful to be working remotely in the safety of my home, a sentiment I am sure is shared by many. I would like to congratulate all educators for all their hard work, ensuring we started virtual distance learning successfully. It has not been without hiccups, but we continue to make BISD shine.
Sorry.
We have had many concerns involving Google Meet, which is the new platform being pushed by the district because it lacks many extensions and administrative access to download sets extensions needed to deliver effective instruction. Muting, live chat, grid view, screen sharing, and loss of view of students are only a few of the concerns the teachers have faced. We ask that the district continue to listen to teacher input and assist with any concerns involving technology issues to help us serve our students the best way possible. I would also like to thank you for beginning to send food out into the community and making it more accessible to families in need. AOBE would also like to congratulate all individuals that were recognized this evening as outstanding educators. Thank you, board members and Dr. Gutierrez for your time.
Our next speaker is Aida Aveldaño, AOBE Virtual.
Okay. Can you hear me? Okay. Good evening. This is Ida Aveldaño with AOBE, TSTA, NEA. First, I do want to thank you all on the corrections and updates on policy DEC local. I think Dr. Trevino said DED, but it's DEC. And we really do appreciate that you listen to our members' concerns and phone calls about that and corrected that to have disability, the temporary disability coverage for everyone. We really do appreciate it because it is only fair and right to give them that opportunity as well. We also do want to thank you that the tents were provided for all campuses for food services and water and leniency on the uniforms and requirements on that. We would have thought it would have been understandable, but I am glad that at least now we're able to work together and hopefully we can continue that communication so we can be more effectively working together and build a better morale and a positive environment. With those two things being said, I'm going to mention some other concerns that have been brought to our attention. With the nurses and the concerns that they have on the equipment that they are given, we are really asking for you to take into consideration the risks that they're being put as being frontline employees. So we're asking for you to please take into consideration in providing them the appropriate equipment, such as the N95 mask. We know of the comments that were made about it being too expensive, but we do believe that it is necessary if they are frontline staff that might be addressing students with symptoms once it gets back on face-to-face. So also the other issue is on the FNS supervisor. There are several concerns about the position that is going to get approved tonight or going before the board for consideration for approval. We ask that you really consider what the district is going through right now. And if this is a position for you guys to really evaluate if it is really needed at this time, because there's several other people throughout the district facing attrition and having to pick up extra duties. So we're hoping that that can be considered and really evaluated to see if it's needed, especially since there was only one applicant. Another concern is devices for the students that are out there. There's still a lot of shortage on devices for students. So we hope that that is also taken into consideration.
Closing comments, please. Closing comments is past 3 minutes.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Closing comments, your 3 minutes are up.
Oh, for it to be taken into, may I be able to finish? It's not much longer.
Yes.
May I finish?
Go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you. On the devices for the students, for the district to take into consideration and let the parents know and the students and the employees that the timelines are going to be more lenient, because there's a lot of devices that still have not been given out, or they're on back order, whatever the case might be, but it's causing a lot of stress on the students and staff. So please take that into account. And all we ask is for y'all to take it into consideration, the input from the employees. Please, these employees have been reaching out. We've been letting you all know the concerns, such as with Google Meets and things like that. It's important to listen to what they have to say so we can be addressing the issues and concerns. So, and thank you for your time. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Just for the record, that's 4 minutes and 15 seconds, because If we're not gonna stop it at 3 minutes, that's fine, but I don't wanna be stopping people. So I'm gonna put up my hand that says 3 minutes, and I'm gonna let them.
Oh, Balta's
Thank you. I
upset.
appreciate it. I know it's very difficult and this is prime time, but I thank you for your patience, sir. We're doing our best.
Oh, Balta's mad.
Everyone has to please abide by the 3 minutes and make sure that when we do have them speak, please at the beginning of the speak, please tell them you have 3 minutes. This way they can maybe put a timer in front of them or somehow just to make sure that they cover what they need
Oh,
to.
Balta's mad. Minerva's
Thank you.
making him happy.
Erasmo?
Our next speaker is Micaela Escobar, AOBE.
Good evening, President Peña, Dr. Gutierrez, members of the board. My name is Micaela Escobar, and I'm the proud Vice President of AOBE, and I also serve at the state level as the Texas State Teachers Association Administrator at Large. I am here before you because I'm asking that we respect every employee. We here are our members, and they call us with many concerns, and most of the time it's in reference to respect. Every person that works in BISD is an educator, whether they're a bus driver, FNS employee, teacher, clerk, secretary, administrator. We are all educators. We ask you that have the common courtesy, and I'm only saying this because this is what the members are saying, that sometimes they get visits from either administration or board members, and they're not even greeted. They're not even said good morning or acknowledge that they exist. They're all educators, and we're all in this together in this pandemic. A simple good morning doesn't cost anything. A smile with your eyes, you can reflect your joy in it. I also want to thank you. I want to thank you for taking into account that TEA wants us to report COVID cases. As you know, my son did have COVID and he has recovered. Blessed be God. But there has been COVID cases as for our members, and they're not being disclosed. Y'all were posting it on the website. What happened? We deserve to know, because that way we take extra precautionary measures. We have families at home. I'm one that chooses to work from the workplace. I really do. But I don't want to take the illness back home to my parents, because I visit them, because I don't go anywhere other than work and home and my parents' house. I want to thank you for your time. I know it's not easy. I know you face a lot of tribulations even at home, because you too may take the virus home. So I appreciate your time. And I thank you for everything you do.
Yes, Maria.
Because I know it's not easy. And I do pray for every single one of you. Thank you and good night.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Celia Sayas.
Good evening, Board President Peña, Dr. Gutierrez, and members of the board. My name is Celia Sáez, and I am the co-chairperson of Best Brownsville Educators Stand Together and AFT, American Federations of Teachers, a union of professionals. I am also a kindergarten teacher at Skinner Elementary and a concerned citizen of our community. We have finished the first week of our school year, and between tracking students down, taking attendance, and correcting it several times a day, answering students' and parents' emails, dealing with all those technology issues, and responding to administration, and teaching, it's been a busy week. We believe that for the district to be at its most effective is that we need to have district uniformity. We may be 60 separate campuses and many more departments, but we all need to be on the same page. This is not the time for administrators to try and outdo each other. On July 13th, the district had a 10-hour board meeting to present everything that would be occurring at the beginning of the school year. Procedures, school schedules, safety procedures, and so on. Before school had even started, campuses were changing their schedules and not adhering to what district administration had put out. This needs to stop. Everyone, as much as possible, needs to be doing the same thing to provide as much stability as possible to students, parents, and employees. When we return to the new normal face-to-face instruction, then campuses, departments can start to flex their individuality. We all need to be saying and doing the same thing. We know that schools are starting to balance classes. We do wonder how classes with 24 to 34 students is going to look like when we need to go back to work and maintain social distancing in the classroom. We will continue to work together with the district when allowed to solve the myriad of issues that will continue to pop up during these turbulent times. Thank you for your attention and have the best evening possible.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Mary Kay Nieto.
Good evening, Board President Peña, Dr. Gutierrez, and members of the board. My name is Mary Catherine Nieto, and I am a co-chairperson of BEST, Brownsville Educators Stand Together, and AFT, American Federation of Teachers. I am also a librarian for Hannah Early College High School, and I'm a concerned citizen. BEST AFT is a union of professionals, and as a union, we were the first locally to present a comprehensive safety plan and recommend distance learning for the entire first semester. BEST AFT, along with all of the local unions, have championed for the safety of all of our employees. BEST AFT was the union that asked for the employees to be able to work from home when and if possible, and for teachers to have the choice of teaching from their classroom or from a distance. We have asked this for all employees. It is to our chagrin, the campus administrators have still insisted on some employees reporting to campus as essential workers, even though many of those have informed us that they could very well do their duties from home.
Finally.
Some employees have been consistently allowed to work from home, while others are forced to report to work, even though they are doing the same exact job as the ones allowed to work from home. We ask that all employees be treated fairly and be given the opportunity to work from home if their duties allow for it. We also find it deplorable that some campuses have asked both classified and certified workers to come onto campus and then did not provide them with PPE supplies such as antibacterial hand gel and disinfecting wipes, telling them instead that those items were for teachers only, and they would have to bring their own disinfecting supplies. The district has spent millions of dollars for PPE supplies for all employees, so why is it being withheld? We at BEST AFT are asking that if any employee is asked to come to work on campus and are not provided with the PPE supplies they need, that they be allowed to leave immediately to their homes and not suffer any consequences for refusing to work in a possibly hazardous working environment. We have heard of recent outbreaks at Lopez Early College High School and again at the finance office here at the main administrative building. We are again asking all department heads and all administrators to come with a fair rotation schedule and to put their employees and their safety before their desire to impress their bosses. For us to be the best district, we all have to act in the best interest of the safety of all of our employees. Thank you for your time and have the best evening possible.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Patrick Hammis.
Good evening, Board Chairperson Peña, Dr. Gutierrez, members of the board. My name is Patrick Hammis. I'm a spokesperson of Brownsville Educators Stand Together, BEST, and AFT, American Federation of Teachers and Union Professionals. I'm also a concerned community member. Tonight, our concerns, as Celia and Mary Catherine said, are employee safety and a lack of uniformity in our district. Tonight, we're going to provide you with a sample of our own, believe it or not. We can't believe that a campus administrator would mandate that all teachers would teach 1 day a week from campus, even though the superintendent stated both verbally and in writing that it was a teacher option. We can't believe that campus administrators are mandating that employees such as counselors and library aides, to name two, are being made to come to campus to do work
exactly
from their homes.
Finally.
We can't believe that these same campuses and departments, at the very least, are not able to set rotation schedules for these same employees. We can't believe that special ed paras are not being allowed to work with their teachers and instead are checking on attendance and being told to come to campus to work on bulletin boards instead of providing assistance to those who need it the most. We can't believe that some campus administrators are mandating that employees who are on campus working sign in with the biometric clock as versus from their computers, thus increasing the possibility of spreading the virus. We can't believe that campus department administrators would not provide PPE supplies to their classified employees. We cannot believe that the finance department has had at least 3 outbreaks, and so we don't know if they finally created a rotation schedule to protect their employees. We can't believe that campus department leaders cannot differentiate between essential and convenience when it comes to asking employees to come into campuses and departments. We can't believe that after almost 21,000 cases and nearly 600 deaths in Cameron County, that we still have to raise the issue of safety and uniformity to administration and the board.
Yes.
Putting lives at risk is not a best practice. Let's do better in emphasizing safety and uniformity so we can be the best district. Thank you. Have the best evening, and be alert for our upcoming school board forums. Thank you, and have a good evening.
Great job tonight.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Alberto Alegría, TVEA.
That was finally speaking out on what the issues really are.
Excuse me. Good evening, members of the board, President Mrs. Minerva Peña, Superintendent Dr. Rene Gutierrez. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Alberto Alegría, President of Texas Valley Educators Association. As Brownsville Independent School District employees complete their first week of virtual teaching and learning from home, we would like to thank all employees for their resilience and patience as we educate students through the new means of communication.
Go to the office.
We're also thankful to all essential employees that are moving buses for hotspots availability, custodians for assisting campus employees, paraprofessionals for helping administration, security detail for safety on campus, and FNS employees for preparing and serving the food to all BIG students. We are very grateful to all of you. Unsettling at the work site. Let's not be unworried about the fact that employees remain reluctant to work at ease, knowing that COVID-19 is and continues to be a factor in their daily work activities. Please continue to reassure employees that all safety precautions are taken and that PPE
Very true, Ismael.
is in place.
They should have
and
spoken
not
out about it
in short
before.
supply,
I'm
and
glad that they
enforce
finally
safe
did.
distancing where tight quarters appear. Advocating safety first is and should be a priority in BISD. Preschoolers, 3 and 4-year-old concerns and recommendations. This letter was sent to TVA. Here we go. Dear TVEA, many early childhood teachers of pre-kinder 3 and 4 have some issues concerning the amount of screen time for our students. In fact, the American Academy of Pediatrics recommends only 1 hour of screen time for children under the age of 5.
I can't believe that
our district has mandated
Patrick
the same
Hammonds
schedule
and Bess,
for all students
they started now to
regardless of
see the
grade
light.
level or age.
I can't believe it took them
This
this long.
mandate does not reflect current research regarding students our age group. Furthermore,
Finally.
it has come to our attention that TEA's recommendation has subjected our young 3 and 4-year-olds to an excessive amount of screen time. This does not take into account the fact that the attention span of a 3 and 4-year-old child is not the same as that of an older student. After a week of online teaching, our concerns about excessive screen time has been observed. After only 15 or 20 minutes of on-screen teaching, many of our students become restless and begin to play. Sadly, after staring at a teacher on a computer screen for too long, our little ones lose focus and interest in our instruction, no matter how well prepared we may be. Regarding our present schedule, we have noticed that there are blocks of science and social studies. These 2 subjects are already embedded in our OWL language arts instruction time. We recommend moving these 2 blocks and assigning more hands-on activities that can be done off-screen. As teachers of early childhood, we only want the best for our little ones during the unfortunate pandemic. We understand virtual learning is the only way to teach at this time. However, the health and well-being of our young students are at risk. Moreover, we believe our students, who are the very foundation of their education, should not be subjected to the same pedagogy as students who are much older and able to tolerate longer periods of on-screen instruction. In conclusion, we at Texas Valley Educators Association are proud to work with this present school board and their committees. We understand that we may not see eye to eye on every issue with administration,
and acknowledge the majority of the
Ay,
board of
Alberto.
trustees making sincere decisions for the well-being and the best interest of employees and students. We hope to continue this success. Look for a more promising year where employees can receive their true compensation and students receive the best education BISD can afford. Thank you for listening and enjoy the rest of your school year.
Where were you the last 6 months, man?
This concludes our public comment period.
Oh, finally. Let's go into the Baltasar Salazar motion.
Recommend approving the consent agenda. The board has agreed to discuss the following items. All of the items below that are not called out will be approved by consent.
They are as follows. 2, A1, 3, and 4.
What about 9?
On page 3, A9.
Yes.
On page 3, B1. On page 4, B10, B11. On page 5, E3, E4. Those are the only ones I have. Is anyone else? Have I left something off?
No.
Would like to add, please advise.
And I move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Ma'am, the board item, we're only discussing consent agenda. Yeah, everything else that's not called out on the consent agenda is discussed. Let me go over it real quick for Pat. Oh, go ahead.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay.
On consent agenda.
Okay.
Everything else that's not on consent agenda will be discussed, but on consent agenda, my colleagues have asked that we discuss A1, 3, 4, and 9, page 3. Section B, B1, and B10, and B11, on page 4. Then we turn to page 5, E3, E4, and that's all I have.
Yes, ma'am.
Anything else that was not under consent agenda will be discussed. Only consent agenda gets through without discussion unless we bring it up and ask for it to be discussed. Do I have anything else, anyone?
No, I just wanted to make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Yes, sir.
A second.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
We can.
Just recognize our grants team for getting a $700,000 grant to work with our security forces here. You know, and so
Shut up, Philip.
Our chief's going to be very happy.
Excellent, thank you.
Please vote. Motion passes 7-0 unanimous. Under board member requests, A1, discussion, consideration, and possible action of resolution number 2020-2021 on appointing a BISD representative to serve on the Cameron County Appraisal District Board of Directors. Board member request, Drew Brown. Board support, Laura Perez Reyes, Dr. Prissy Roca Tipton, and Mr. Philip County.
Ms. Peña?
Yes,
At
ma'am.
this time, I'd make a motion to appoint Dr. Roca Tipton. Prissy Roca Tipton.
Okay, go ahead, Ms. Drew.
Well, since it was my agenda item, I was going, First, I wanted to thank you, Laura, for the work you've done on the Cameron County Appraisal District. Like anything you do, I know you put a lot of effort into it, and by all reports, you did an excellent job. And I was going to nominate Dr. Tipton because she's shown a great interest in the appraisal district. She's also, like Ms. Perez Reyes, she'll commit herself and do an excellent job. And
Money.
she will pick up the mantle that Laura has taken to this point and move it forward. So I'd like to nominate Dr. Tipton.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. That noise we're hearing is there's an amber.
Money.
Over there as well.
And so Dr. Tipton, we're going to count on you to lower those taxes.
Please, Dr. Tipton, work hard on that. And she's the perfect person to be an advocate for our community. I commend you on that because I know how much you
Police
really
property
care.
values.
I know she will do an excellent job, just like Laura did, because you guys are fighting for those who need it the most. So thank you.
Shut up, Minerva.
Please vote. Did you accept, Miss? Yeah, you need to let us know if sí or no.
Yes, thank you for the vote of confidence to all my colleagues here, and I am honored by your support, and I will continue to work hard and to keep the trust that you all have placed in me. Thank you.
Still more money for Sylvia?
Thank you. Are we ready to go?
Yes, ma'am.
Motion passes 7-0 unanimous. Good luck. Do as well.
Congratulations.
I know you will. Congratulations. Item 2, discussion, consideration, and possible action to review, amend, and/or terminate BSD Board Attorney, Board Member Request, Laura Perez Reyes, Board Support, Eddie Garcia. Ms. Laura?
Thank you, Ms. Peña. At this time, I would make a motion to terminate legal services agreement with Baltasar Salazar effective immediately.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
Push the button and say that again because it didn't come up.
I second the motion.
Wow.
Thank you. Do we have any discussion, any questions?
Ms. Peña?
Yes, ma'am?
Over the past couple of months, I have individually met with my colleagues, with I think every single one of you, with the exception of Dr. Atkinson. I have expressed my concerns regarding our board attorney, Baltasar Salazar, and I do want to thank every one of you for giving me your time and for listening to my concerns. At this time, I felt it was appropriate to entertain this today publicly and to have this discussion for purposes of transparency. And concerns have ranged from the lack of accountability on behalf of the board, the backlash that follows the request for accountability. Last April, I suggested that counsel, as per his contract, should be generating a list of pending litigation that involves BISD.
Wow.
What the current status is and next steps. Between barbacoa lawsuits and construction projects, the board is not kept abreast in a timely manner. Minimal updates come years apart. Weeks after my comments, Mr. Salazar told Mr. Philip Cowan that he would go full force after me for making such requests. BISD pays $25,000 in monthly fees to Mr. Salazar to provide updates and keep the board abreast and represent us. I believe that as board members, it is our responsibility to have some oversight, and none of us should be retaliated against for doing so. Over the years, I've seen board counsel become so entrenched in political campaigns that I think that he's forgotten that he's a lawyer, not a political consultant. I have seen him create fictitious PACs, for which he has been ultimately sanctioned for by the Ethics Commission. I have seen him disseminate thousands of attack mailers on a sitting school board member. I've seen him stick out slates, fund their campaigns, not because he believes in them, but because he wants to further his pockets with future legal work. After my own experience, Mr. Salazar having contributed to my campaign in 2016, I believe those excessive contributions are used as forms of manipulation, control, and unspoken expectations on his part. That isn't something that he has just done here at the ISD, but it's something that he's also done in San Benito ISD, Durham City, and Houston. Ever since I can remember, board attorney has always reminded members of this board that he doesn't represent any one of us individually, which is true. As per his contract under scope of engagement, I quote, Baltasar Salazar will represent the ISD. Purpose, council, the ISD, and its board of trustees. However, Mr. Salazar on multiple occasions has acted and responded to concerns that individual board members whom are perceived to be in the majority pose. And those of us who are not part of said majority are faced with I don't take direction from individual board members. Most recently, Ms. Peña brought to my attention that Baltasar Salazar had visited with Dr. Atkinson's private federal attorney, Noe Garza, to ask him to encourage Dr. Atkinson to stay away from participating in our meetings. While I agree, and as per our letter to TEA, we're all uncomfortable with participation and presence, that was something that was never discussed as a body or asked of him to do. Especially because Mr. Salazar has been subpoenaed by the federal government as a witness in the upcoming trial. Why he would take it upon himself to visit privately with Dr. Atkinson's attorney to do this on district time is improper and unacceptable. Mr. Salazar does not represent the best interest of the BISD. He believes in selective representation to board majorities.
Damn!
Furthermore, back in 2013, when Mr. Salazar was first retained as legal counsel, Mr. Salazar had no experience in school law. He was not the highest ranked candidate. There was only one person here who took part in that hiring process. The rest of us have inherited him. At the time, Ms. Peña said he could learn on the job. The second highest paid individual at the ISD would learn on the job. In addition, as part of the contract, he'd have the opportunity to hire experts or additional legal counsel in areas beyond general counsel's expertise. I, again, question how many outstanding cases are there where different experts have been hired? How much additional money has it cost the district? And has the board council received additional income for potential referral fees from said experts? Not to mention the additional fees that the district pays when BISD has to reach out to, I understand lately we've been using Kevin O'Hanlon. And I appreciate the board granting that support to the superintendent because I would not want to seek my legal advice from Mr. Baltasar Salazar. There has been a tremendous lack of accountability, record keeping, and reporting. In addition, at the time of hire, the state of Texas legislative Senate Bill number 144.034, notification of criminal history. Subsection A states, a person or business entity that enters into a contract with school district must give advance notice to the district if the person or an owner or operator of the business entity has been convicted of a felony. The notice must include a general description of the conduct resulting in the conviction. Without going into detail the nature of the charges, there's been 3 felonies and convictions as far as that has never been disclosed to the district. I believe those convictions disqualify Mr. Salazar from serving this district in this official capacity. I don't understand how any one of us would want to have a convicted felon on a crime of moral turpitude to represent the Brownsville Independent District.
Thank you. And I need to correct you. I never once, ever in my life, to you or anyone, ever made the statement that you just made, that he could learn on the job. I got a call today from someone who said to me that they asked you to call me, and they said this exact. No, I'm telling you what happened today. I never once have made that statement, and they made that statement to me, and they named the board member that, let me finish, because I did not interrupt you in your statement. Please do not interrupt me. I have never made that statement, because remember, I'm one of the biggest proponents and people with experience. OJT, I've always said that is very difficult. I got a call. What a coincidence that today at 2:30, I get a call from someone who told me that they were told by a previous board member, like back in 2000 and whenever this gentleman was
Minerva's lying.
that when that particular board member, who no longer sits in the board, went over there and was very, very adamant to make sure he did not get hired for whatever personal reason they had. That person told me that when she went to that male board member, he told her,
Minerva's lying.
And right now you said, Ms. Peña said that. That's what I understood you to say.
Ms. Peña, we will play back that meeting if you'd like.
Yeah, but I did not say that.
She did.
In that sense, in the way you're stating it.
Minerva's,
someone who told me.
Minerva's a liar.
I'm saying that. I know what you're saying, but that is not something that I turn around and say. That doesn't, if that's me taking that content, I can respect. I know you're here all day, listening and doing everything. I'm going to do the same things to make sure we don't take things out of content. I respect how you feel. There's only things, I want to make sure that we say things correctly and properly, and we respect how you feel, and we will take everything into accountability out of respect. And at this point in time, if it's okay with my colleagues, I'd like to, you've addressed very important issues and very concerning, especially the last ones that you said, a crime of moral turpitude. That's wow. I needed to find out. I had not heard that. This is the first time I hear that
Minerva's going to protect her.
Our attorney has been charged with
Yes.
crime of moral turpitude. So if we can get something.
Minerva
I really appreciate
is going to protect Baltasar Salazar.
that it is, and you can share with us, because that's very important. That's true.
Ms. Peña, I'd like to ask, because those are serious charges, I'd like to give Mr. Salazar an opportunity to explain.
No, he's a vendor.
Ms. Peña, Dr. Gutierrez, Ms. Perez, I don't believe in rumors. I don't believe in innuendos. I believe in facts. Fact, I do not have a felony conviction. I've heard you say that I have 3. I've heard other people say 5. I've heard the bloggers say that I have 3 robbery convictions. For the record, and I want to bring into today's meeting, I want to bring in 3 documents. The first document is my good standings with the State Bar of Texas, and I freshly off the press. I got it all for today, and it says here, Mr. Salazar was licensed to practice law in Texas on November 4th, 1994. That was 12, 13, 20 years before I applied to BSD. So I've got a copy, and I want to put that into record. The second one is I wanted to put in, and I'm also licensed in the Southern District of Texas, and I'm also licensed like Mr. Cowan in the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals, and I've argued at the Texas Supreme Court on behalf of BISD. So I am licensed. They don't license you to have a felony, just FYI. The other one, I think to me, the most important one is that I am licensed by SBEC, which is the State Board of Education. And I would like to put that one into the record also. And it says there, Baltasar Salazar, effective date is 12/1/17, and this is my renewal. And it's valid, my teaching certificate to 11/30/23. It's life sciences grades 8 through 12. Dr. Levine, if you have any openings, let me know. But that is a certified copy. I pulled it off of SBEC today. Again, SBEC does a very good job at finding they do not license people with convictions. So that's 2. And then for those of you law enforcement people, Mr. Garcia in particular, and Ms. Pena, I'm also going to bring into the record my Texas license to carry a handgun. And you know, Mr. Garcia, that you cannot be a convicted felon, especially not 3 robbery convictions, if you were going to get a license to carry. So having said that, I'm not going to belabor all the points because I think that, again, they're misinformation. Again, if in my business, it's a business of trust. I have enjoyed the last 7.5 years working for the Brownsville Independent School District. I've been effective, I've been loyal, and I've been aggressive. But I've always been aggressive, but in the best interest of the Brownsville Independent School District. Sometimes board members don't like my recommendations. There's been several board members here who don't like, and that's okay. But my interest has always been what's in the best interest of the Brownsville Independent School District. My dad retired from BISD. My mom retired. My 4 sisters retired. I have a vested interest. There is no way that I would ever lie on an application or make this district look bad. So I take offense to it because you are wrong, Ms. Pence.
Thank you, Ms. Pena. If I may, I would like to cite the case numbers 85 CCR.
I'm sorry, Ms. Pena, are we going to get a chance to all speak because we have not had a chance?
Yes, this is my rebuttal, Dr. Atkinson.
Oh, no, I understand that.
No.
Usually under Robert's rule, at least everybody gets a chance. And we were only supposed to get 2 minutes. I think everybody indulged more time.
Sylvia defending Baltasar?
With all due respect, Dr. Atkinson, since I have been here, I have never seen Ms. Pena cut anybody off except for me. Once before, and it was also you.
I'm not cutting you off.
But I'm reminding Dr. Atkinson that this is not a rule.
You're a professional. This conduct is not necessary. I'm going to give you the time. I was going to ask you to please, because it's really bad. I'm getting calls left and right. Left and right. Your colleagues coming after you, and your election is going to see and what you did tonight. And that is so, you know what? I'm going to do what is right in my heart and both my conscience. No one, if they want to threaten, I'm going to do the right thing. Because if I have to make a deal with the devil to get what I want, I don't want it. You have all the time. Please list the cases, especially because I really want to know if these were convictions. You bring up very serious concerns. Please list the cases, and I'd like to know.
She was trying to before you interrupted her, you stupid.
To bring them up and see what they say, because you can find out right away with criminal history.
Let her speak.
Very important information. Let her give the case.
I just want to know if you have any copies that we can look at when you're reading. That's all I was going to ask you. If you have so that we can read it while you're looking at it.
The copies have been requested. I have a copy of a judgment. Probation was granted. Where probation was granted. There are 3 case numbers. Please go ahead. These cases were robbed. 2 of them are 85 CR 23 is a theft. 85 CR 450 is a theft. 83 CR 416 theft by check. These are all cases here in Cameron County. It's public record. Anybody can submit a public record request. I'm not making these up.
These are 1985, am I correct?
That's what the 85 stands for, the
85,
year?
correct.
It's
So,
85?
so these cases actually happened before Mr. Salazar was a licensed attorney. If the stars lined up for him and he became licensed after that, that's not the point. That's not the point. If in 2008 he got a DWI and he managed to have that expunged, I'm great. I'm happy that everything has worked out for you. However, that's not the point. The truth of the matter is that these cases have still happened, and why I would want somebody with a criminal history. And I'll ask Dr. Gutierrez, do we employ people that have criminal histories such as these here in this district?
For others aspect, for certification purposes, we're required, every district is required to check that, to make background checks on certified employees, but that's a requirement from the State Board of Education certification for anyone. So the answer is yes, for anyone that applies, we must do background checks.
But we don't hire people that have convictions, felony convictions.
Felony, no. That's correct, right, Dr. Turian? No felony convictions?
How can you not know that, you idiot?
Since you're more involved with the personnel?
You!
Well, depending on the felony, right? And if it was expunged and we allow the opportunity, I mean, we are an equal opportunity employer, but most of the time, no.
Yeah, Madam Chair.
Mr. Cowan and then Ms.
I'd like
Ms.
to make one comment here. I've actually seen the cases, and they are not convictions, they're deferred adjudications. This is what I understand. You know, that's in the record over there. If it was a conviction, you know, I mean, you can still get your law license if you have a conviction. That's a potential. You could never own a gun or some other stuff, but this deferred adjudication, you admit the guilt.
I know what deferred adjudication is, Mr.
Okay, I know
Cowan,
what
and what I saw was a judgment for probation. And I understand their convictions. The files are very old, obviously, and so I think that it's taking a minute for the district clerk to be able to get a full printout of them. But
And the thefts were, you said one was hot checks. What were the other thefts involved?
both thefts,
All
all
of
three
them
are,
were.
one is a theft paycheck.
In other words, they're insufficient fund charges. Hot check, that's what that is. Am I correct?
83,416 is, and the two I didn't get to finish reading the complaints. Like I said, they're old files and they're not all available in the system, and the system is not shows them as disposed. It doesn't show them as deferred adjudication.
And it shows them as felony, you're saying?
Yes, ma'am. They're filed in a district
Because
court
of that,
in
because of the
Cameron
amount,
County.
because of the amount of the check. Am I correct? That's what makes it a
Correct.
felony? But these are, because you mentioned moral turpitude. So,
Theft is a
yeah, but moral turpitude has been defined a little, as we get older in life, it's very different how they keep changing that. So that really raised a red flag to me, because moral turpitude in law enforcement, we look at it in a different manner, but I see what you're saying now. Ms., is that what Ms. Reyes? Dr. Atkinson. Thank you. And Ms. Reyes, with all due respect, I wasn't trying to cut you off. I was trying to see if you were reading from something that could be shared. We could look at it.
Cowan defending
Okay.
Baltasar Salazar.
And you said these are from 1985? Okay, and how long have you known about this?
I always heard the rumors, but it's not ever something that I have taken time to look into myself.
Baltasar Salazar.
I think that one of the things as board members here, you see, this is the way it's always been done. It's always been done this way. I didn't hire him. We can all, to a certain extent, you pass the buck. I didn't go do a criminal background check on him. Whenever I came here, he was already here. Okay, but I've learned, and these things have surfaced. And after I don't trust him, and after I have seen him single out certain specific board members at different times, always minority though, because he'll never single out somebody that's perceived to be in a majority. That's when I started to become more attentive to it, and I decided to look into it myself because I've had my own experiences with him where I believe he's dishonest, where I have firsthand seen him deceive people, lie, and I feel that this is a person that thrives on dysfunction and on lies. And so because of my personal experience, I decided to look into it.
Okay, Ms. Bennett, she has she has read some information. Maybe you and Mr. Garcia know a little bit more since you've been in law enforcement in terms of what those citations mean. But obviously, I can say two things, if I may. It's a little awkward to be speaking about this at this point without having had any backup or anything to know where this is going. I think, definitely I was the only one that was left out and not a problem. But I think that information, should have been something that should have been shared. I think there was a report that was requested, and it's a confidential, only board members, and that's all public information, even the information that was approved on that list. And so I think the cloak and dagger here is part of the dysfunction.
Well, yeah, because he's working for you.
So if we're going to be just transparent, I think that having been in the district at the time that Mr. Salazar was hired, we were asked to, if I may, Mr. Salazar, Ms. Peña, Dr. Gutierrez as city superintendent, as an employee of the district, we were asked to look into that with the current, at the time with the board attorney and their firm, and it was looked into. And we were told that he was clear to be hired.
Defending him.
So for it to come back at this point, I just feel it's a little disingenuous. If 3 years, we were in the majority and it was fine, but now we're in the minority and I'm not getting the right answer.
No.
Let me just finish, because I've been on both sides, and I think Ms. Bettis-Reyes, you know that, right? So it becomes a situation where, if you're saying he's doing a bad job, then I'm all for redirection. If you're saying that he's not giving, or you're giving the implication that he's not giving me the answer that I'm looking for, or I don't like the answer he gave somebody else, those are things that we all have to discuss as a group and make a decision. I think it sounds very personal, and I just want us to really think about
how
to step forward into something that's this personal. That's all I'm saying. Facts are the facts, and I'll support the facts.
And thank you. And everything that I have stated on my points, Dr. Atkinson, not just from these criminal cases that have been filed and that are fact and available for anybody to view with public access. Not only is that truthful, but it's also truthful that he's created a PAC. It's truthful that he's gotten involved, that he funds campaigns. All of that is public record. If now you want to just fixate on that one thing, then that's fine as well. But let's at least acknowledge and recognize everything else that I have mentioned, because all of that, they're truths. And as a matter of fact, I have, at one point, I know that we've obviously had some issues. This board has not been a very united board. But I know that at some point, Dr. Tipton shared with me that he was saying that Mr. Salazar was saying that I had received a $20,000 contribution.
$25,000.
That is dishonest. The fact that he created a PAC against the incumbent in my seat does not mean that money was for me. That does not mean that I orchestrated any of those efforts. That does not mean that I handled that money.
Wow.
So to be a straight out liar and to be deceitful and to misinterpret his contributions, to say everybody can turn a blind eye. Anybody can turn a blind eye at this point. I just felt the need to put this on the record. It's not personal. It's not personal for me, and it may seem like it because it upsets me. I have noticed this since April of last year. And I expected him to come after me. And if you remember, Mr. Cowan, you're the one who told me that he told you he was going to go after me and attack me personally. I have children. My service here means a lot to me. And ultimately, that's why I felt compelled to bring this up today. But I know what Mr. Salazar is capable of. I know that he has unlimited resources to go fund PACs, create PACs, send literature out about me, because I've seen him do it for other people. So while you're asking me why I'm doing it now, well, let's see, maybe I didn't necessarily want to have that. I didn't want to be targeted like that. And while I still don't want to be targeted like that, I feel like this is something that we need to discuss. And I don't feel, if nothing else, at least this will be an important message for the rest of the community, the candidates that are out there. I've had many people, I've been involved with many campaigns, and I've always, obviously campaigns, you count on people to contribute to your efforts. And I have never, not once, seen somebody manipulate the way that Mr. Salazar has, or to gain leverage through those contributions the way that he has. And I have seen it all, and I've had a lot of time to think about it, to absorb it, to discuss it. I've had this conversation. This isn't something new. This isn't something it just occurred to me last Wednesday. These are conversations that I have had with the rest of the board, excluding you, obviously, prior, and I haven't felt that the support is there. And maybe for the same reason, maybe for the same reason that I've shied away from adding this to today's agenda before. But there are serious concerns, and all I can do is every day I learn better, and I want to be better. And even if this falls through today, it's not personal. I'm not angry. I don't resent Mr. Salazar personally. I just feel that I have a moral obligation to state how I feel and to report what it is that I see, to voice these concerns to. To me, they're very legitimate, even if you don't even want to discuss the felonies. To me, I don't think it's appropriate that any person, and I don't think that we would allow our superintendent to become involved to the degree that Mr. Salazar has with any elections. I don't know that any of you guys would be okay with him giving Dr. Tipton a $5,000 contribution, having slates, creating mail ads, campaigns. It's not okay. And sometimes you don't realize that these things are not okay or how dangerous they are until you see it happen to you.
100%. Finally.
And so to me, it's something I take serious. I would hate for any of the new board members to be in a position like this later. I think it's great if people want to accept contributions, but you do so knowing better. Now at this point, now I know that some of us have said, well, let the new board decide. He may go when the new board comes in. That's not the point. I'm not going to yield my obligation today to the promise of tomorrow that somebody else is going to learn how long it's going to take them to figure out everything that I've just now expressed.
And if I may kind of add to your statement, then please forgive me. And it's just hard because it sounds very personal. It really does everything you mentioned. As far as the hot check charges, like 34 years ago, when I was 26 years old. And I'm not saying this lightly because it's happened to a lot of people that have been charged.
Minerva defending Baltasar Salazar.
In 2020, they have what they call overdraft protection, which means they don't charge you and they don't go to the court to get your money. They just charge you $40 more and then you turn around and you're okay. Things have changed, things have evolved. I totally understand what you're saying. Like I said, I asked because it's a felony and we're interpreting. You're saying, have they ever hired someone with a criminal history? I've seen employee records where we had a question on someone who had something like a DWI back 30 years ago. And the first thing that I was told was that already happened. They've been cleared through SBAC, they've been cleared through this, they've been cleared through that. What I'm hearing you say, and God forbid, because you work in a court and you will be serving hopefully the court, to turn around and say, we're going to mark you for life and you tabooed and that's it, the rest of your life. And anyone who turns around and doesn't believe that someone who have made a mistake, and we have candidates out there apologizing for being arrested and making mistakes and they want the community to forgive them. For anyone that doesn't look at that as a part of the country where you serve your time, you do your time, you reform, and you go forward in a positive way, then I wouldn't be serving my purpose as an officer, as a commissioned police officer, because we're not jury and prosecutors and judge. We are the ones that do the work, you take them in, they get fined, they serve their time, and then they come out in society. I'm conflicted in the manner that it's being presented, because to turn around and say, how dare you people overlook that 34 years ago he had hot checks. Well, right now there's overdraft protection where you can have, all the hot checks you want and you pay $30, $50 overdraft check and you never get prosecuted.
Minerva is batting for Baltasar Salazar.
1985. So my question is, I need to look at this closely. Please forgive me. It sounds extremely personal. I didn't realize you felt that way or that you felt threatened by him. I have had.
Oh, you did know, you liar.
I tell you to your face that I have gone up to him and I've had my differences, and I very sternly, sir, very firmly told you that I disagree with the conduct, how you acted, how you approached it, how you addressed me. But I'm the kind that I'll go to you and tell you, you did this, this, and this, and this, and this wrong. You need to fix it. You need to be careful how you do it because it was this your intent. That's how I work. I go straight to your face and I tell you.
She's a liar.
Not do that or what have you.
She's a liar.
I'm conflicted because of the fact you are correct. It was at that time and place 1985, charged with,
Minerva got a $3,000 check.
It's a theft. It's not insufficient funds. And be clear about it, Ms. Peña,
because it's a check, let me finish, please, ma'am. It's a check that was written that didn't have the funds to cover it. Am I correct? Is that what happened?
you keep wanting to downplay it. And that's okay, and that's okay.
You for a definition. You work.
Minerva continues to defend him because of the donations.
You have been here 12 years. You're asking me with the responsibility of figuring this out for you?
You're manipulating the way you presented it. I'm going to be very frank with you. I have been in court. I have gone through cases.
Okay,
I have
so you're sure
been
that
do it correctly.
then you figure it out. Then do the research.
That's what I'm asking right now.
Don't ask me, don't ask anybody else. You figure it out. You have been here 12 years.
And I've
never
researched it. Yes, ma'am, I have. I have done more things that you know of, and I do it properly, correctly. And if it's nothing,
She's a liar.
I don't go around talking to everyone, making a big deal or putting it out in public. I don't work like that. I wasn't raised like that because I'm supposed to do what's right. Because I don't want people to treat me like that. That's why I won't treat them like that. Yes, ma'am, this has been looked at. Yes, ma'am, because we brought it up. We've looked at it year after year. Your predecessor who was sitting in your seat that you're seeing, she went hard to go and get information on that. I remember. It has been looked at every time. This is not the first time.
And you've never got to the bottom of it.
We've never gotten the result to turn around and be told it's a felony. This person isn't qualified. This person is.
Minerva is yelling for Baltasar.
We never got that, Ms. Laura. And we asked and asked and asked. Mr. Garcia.
I'm the new board member here. And this is something that has been going on for some time. I had already heard about this. And again, you know what? People do deserve a second chance. I have no issue with that. I have no problem with that. And I'm sure he has done a good job, according to some. But when I got on the board, you know, even on my first meeting, I could not believe the words that he said. And that was that he did not represent that person, that he did not work for that person. You know, he does work for us. And I have an issue with that. He, as the board attorney, is supposed to guide us, yet in a couple of meetings, he has tried to make me look like, well, I'm not gonna say it, but I called him out on it. He asked me about Open Records Act, and I was trying to tell him, are you talking about 574.001, where it states that legal counsel is not necessarily need to be present while in executive session unless it's a personal matter, you know? But I did not want to turn that meeting into a circus. And that is why I withheld myself. I am going to act like a professional that I am.
Shut up.
And that is why I did that. Now, let's be clear about this. Did those violation of the law occur? Whether it be, again, you know what? The names on charges do change. I'm not gonna go back into that. Did it happen? Well, there are court records that it happened. Did he try to expunge? That is something that is mentioned that he tried to do. But one of the things that I'm here to do is for us to be fiscally responsible for the district. And I feel that what he is getting paid is well overpaid for the amount of work that he is doing for the district. You know what? It's outrageous. And I'm not about to live with that. You know, at $25,000 a month for the number of hours that he puts in for the district. And when we are, I'm saying we, as a district, are having to hire outside attorneys to represent because some do not feel comfortable with his work. So why are we having to put up with him as an employee when we're having to do and go out and hire others? Now, when he got hired, his thing was, I'm going to save the district money. You know what? Has he saved money? I'm sure he has. And the way he has saved money is by hiring other attorneys to represent us in litigation. But if you look at the record of how many cases he is handling, it will show otherwise. It's other attorneys doing the work.
Mr. Thomas?
This thing gets moved to, we have a meeting on September the 10th, I think, with policy, you know, we can bring this issue up. I mean, whether these things actually are convictions or not, because that's very important. And I've understood.
You're a damn attorney!
Deferred adjudications. And they are not just little small check things that I understand the checks were quite large. But I want to shift the topic to something else. I do have a concern, and I did bring this up to you in terms of the timing on this, and I'm one of those that I think that we ought to allow the new board to evaluate this. And I talked to Mr. Salazar, and I told him I would say this. You know, if this board in November and I get reelected meets and it splits, or in December we split 3-3. You know, I mean, there's 3 people want to keep and 3 people don't. I told him I'm not going to be the one that is going to go ahead and divide the board to go ahead and keep your job. And I have a great concern with that. I think if we had a superintendent that was surviving with a 4-3 majority, yeah, you can survive for a while. But at that particular point, I think it's time to start looking for a new superintendent. I think it's the same way with the board attorney. We're divided on it. And I think, you know, he said he's willing to take his risk, and he may win, he may lose. I'm not sure how that's going to go.
Oh, Philip, you're an idiot.
I do think that the primary duty of the board attorney is to try to develop consensus among the various board members so we can get some work done, not work us against each other, and also to develop consensus with the superintendent. And I know Mr. Salazar at times has told me that, you know, he thrives on the dissension. You know, it helps you keep your job. You know, board's kind of beating up superintendent, and the person can kind of sneak through and keep going. And I don't find that helpful. I know tonight, if we would take a vote, I know how this thing's going to go. So I'm not going to join keeping him. I'm not going to join getting, rid of him either. I want to leave it to the new board.
Flip flopper.
But with my concerns, I want to stress that, you know, if there's 3 people here, assuming that one person gets elected that want to keep him, that would be here in the next board, that there's got to be one other person that would have to come in among those running that would say, hey, we're going to build consensus. We're all on board with this attorney, and we're going to move forward. The last thing I want to say is, and putting aside the problem of building consensus and not building consensus, I think that our legal issues have become simpler. We're solving it. We have better leadership now. And I think that the need to have counsel the way we have it, I think is changed, and we should look at moving on. And I don't think we need a board attorney at every meeting. I think we have staff counsel that can handle certain things. I'm with Mr. Garcia that I think we should have a certified agenda rather than record everything. And of course, we've divided on that. And it's not a big issue, but I am concerned that we're spending a lot of money when I don't think we need that anymore. And I've seen the bills with the superintendent when they ask questions with Bill Hanlon.
Flip-flopping Philip.
And then I think the superintendent's had the right to spend like $5,000 a month or something.
Flip-flopping. Remember, folks, flip-flopping Philip is going to flip on Laura's motion to fire the board attorney, the second highest paid individual in the district.
There is one area, and I've been telling this to Mr. Salazar as well, where I know that he has value. And I've seen him work, and that is in special ed. I think his contract on special ed is way too low, and if, you know, if the board decided to move him on, I think the board should consider keeping him for special ed, and, you know, something, because I do know that can very quickly add up.
He wants to give him a raise?
In one case, I was a refugee from a meeting with a board member that was a little bit out of control, and I went and stayed with him at his house, and then the next morning we had breakfast, and he was on the phone at a hearing in special ed for 4.5 hours. You know, just kept it on the phone, and, you know, almost 5 hours. And if you would have charged $250 an hour, which is normally these attorneys would charge you, that would have been $1,250 over there. So it add up. So, you know, I know in that area, I know that he's good and he's worked at it. Sometimes people say you shouldn't give in to these people. You should fight cases. You shouldn't try to settle. But, you know, that's the lawyer's call. And that's his recommendation. You don't have to accept it as a board, but that would be the recommendation. So that's my take on it.
Flip-flopper.
When this issue came up, my plan was not to speak on it, but I think I'm going to have to. There's
Defend
some
him.
points I'd like to make. I have the highest regard for Laura Pettis-Reyes, and she did speak to several of us at different times about her concerns, but not these concerns. The concerns that were expressed to me were different concerns about Mr. Salazar, and I don't like what's occurred here tonight, which I think is kind of a situation. It does sound personal. We've sat here for probably 30 minutes now and trashed Mr. Salazar's reputation, and by the rules of engagement, he's not really allowed to say much back, and I'm not a big fan of that. I don't like the timing of this. We just have a couple of board meetings before 5 seats on this board could possibly change. And I just really don't like the timing of it a single bit. I think this is something that I was more than willing to let a new board decide. I will note, and I don't know what's changed, but in 2017, I did some research myself. In 2017, from what I saw, Laura, you voted to extend his contract and give him a raise. And in 2019,
you did.
You voted to extend his contract.
You did. I voted
Obviously,
against.
something's occurred since then, or there's something here that's changed. I personally would like to wait and let the new board decide this. And tonight, I would like to see us table it and wait for the new board.
No.
Yes, thank you, Ms. Peña. I think that if Ms. Reyes would consider withdrawing her motion so that we can vote to table this, then I think that would be something that could be better entertained. However, if she's steadfast in wanting to vote, then I can tell you that I can't support it. I will be voting against it in favor of tabling it for the new board. Thank you.
So are you making the motion, Dr. Atkinson, to table?
There's a motion already on the table, Ms. Peña. Yes, and I won't be, and it's on principle, you know, because, and, you know, and I understand everybody's position. Everybody thinks, for those of you staying, I mean, there's only 2 of you really that are staying. The rest of us, Dr. Atkinson and I, by choice, are not seeking re-election. And, you know, I hold the both of you in high regard as well. And as far as me wanting to table it and wanting tomorrow for somebody else to decide what I can decide today based on what I know and everything that I have presented today, and they're all facts, you know, whether we want to downplay them to hot checks, or the truth of the matter is that there are felonies, there were convictions, and that's fine. And you know, like I said, if anybody wants to not take action, that's okay. I respect that. My motion stands.
Yes.
Every comment that I've made is true, and it can be backed by facts. I think that
great job, Laura.
Has been the same. I don't believe that at the time I looked into the felonies. I don't think that I've changed. Perhaps there was more conversation about the division and other comments and other actions. And I personally now, in thinking about this and elaborating on it, I thought that would be personal, you know, and to be very honest and frank here as well.
after the last time that I asked for one opinion as to whether or not I could seek the district clerk seat and remain on the board here without a conflict. And he responded to me that he couldn't look into that. I never again asked for anything, so it's not like I have anything personal at the time. I recognize that, Mr. Baltasar Salazar does not work for any one of us in particular. It was just caught my attention when I hear Drew Brown say, "Oh, I asked Balta to do this," and he jumped on it. It's interesting to me when, we've had already, Dr. Atkinson, you're not the only person to be indicted on this board. We just went through it with Erasmo Castro. There was absolutely no involvement, no interest on the part of Mr. Salazar. However, it's for you that's perceived to be a part of a majority, and he was all over everything. Multiple times I've peeked in and through different, one of your Zoom hearings that you had for your removal in state court, there was a concern as well on my part because I heard one of the assistant district attorneys say that the state, that the BISD was not responding to the requests that were never even made known to me. So I could add on many more concerns to this, but I respect everyone's sentiments, and I figured that this would happen today, and that's okay. Sometimes you have to stand alone, even if you stand alone. I'm going to stand for what I believe in. I believe that Mr. Salazar should be terminated. I don't believe he's in the best interest. I don't believe that he looks after the best interest of the school district or even this board. It's selective representation. And, I've seen it. I've been both part majority, part of a minority. And I don't take it personal. I will continue to be part of this community, of this BISD family, even though I won't be here as a board member. I continue to have children in this district. And so I care, and ultimately, I know that come November, I still have another election. I don't know if Mr. Salazar would go on and put another pack together and do something against me. And you know what? That's okay. I can live with that. It's more important to me today to voice my concerns, and that's all that I can do. And if anybody else sees different, if anybody wants to refuse to believe or accept the facts for what they are, that's okay. That's something that we can all live with individually. I've done my part. Thank you.
And I just want to piggyback on that.
Piggyback.
When you say, well, when you asked something, he didn't do it, but then you said he asked you and he jumped. I feel the same way. There's things and there's times. Please forgive me, sir. I'm going to step on your toes. And I've asked the superintendent to do something on a concern that I get, and it kind of goes by the wayside. And then Laura tells the same concern, and he immediately acts. And he knows because I told him, "How come when I asked you that, you kind of okay, but Laura said it and you jumped?" Well, then you know what I've taught my father, who was a Korean War veteran. Don't take it personal. Sometimes some people have a different effect on people. You know what you need to concentrate on? And I would tell him what that it got done. And I said, you know what? You're right.
Shut up, Minerva.
I see exactly what you're saying. I see your point. But it's very difficult for me right now because we need to have a lot of more detail in this information.
Oh, you've been there 12 years, you idiot.
Something responsible to turn around and say, okay, you know what? That's it. Go away. You're out. I've had this conversation with group after board group after board group in the past. And the information would come back that no, it was not anything.
Because you defend him because of the money he gives you.
Keep him from getting the job because I asked. I remember, and like I'm telling you right now, for people to call me, and I'm going to be very blatant, God forgive me, and God bless me with this. I got so many calls today that they were saying, this is going to be something we're going to use against you in your elections, and your colleagues are helping me. I didn't believe them. I don't. But I'm going to tell you something right now. I'm going to do what is right by the people in the community.
No, you're not.
In this district. Not because I'm going to make a deal with someone because I want an election. To turn around and hurt and tarnish and destroy someone to get what I want, again, I will tell you, I don't want it. Because my mantra in my house, because I answer to my parents still at the age of 63, if you have to make a deal with the devil, you don't want it. If you do something that your conscience is saying no, you've researched, you're in law for it, you know what's going on. And to tell someone you're marked for life, you can never get a job anywhere, where we researched this 3 different times by people that were sitting in, one of them was sitting in Ms. Laura's position. Deeply did it. And we got the information that told us, no, there's nothing that goes against that. You all done right. Again, I've seen where we had someone come to apply who had a DWI 30 years ago, and then they went ahead and got this position, like to be custodial or what have you. I know exactly what you're saying. For me, it's very difficult because I need more information to make a constructive decision because this is somebody's life. I want to make sure that what I do is done right, correct, and not because I'm angry because they didn't help me, they ignored me. Do you know how many people in the world ignore me, treat me like dirt, and pretty much spit my name out? You know what I do? I was raised to pray for them, for God to bless them.
Oh, shut up!
A blessing for my enemy is a blessing for me. That's how I wonder. So for people to call me and to tell me, today we're going to get what you do and we're going to hold it against you. I apologize, people. I'm going to do what's right before I do something to appease someone that I believe has a bad heart. And I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the calls that I got that really bothered me. Like you have no idea. And the only thing that my family, my husband, and my children tell me, Mom, vote your conscience, because at the end of the day,
You have no conscience, marrana.
I want
Pingüina.
Mr. Ellis next, and then Ms. Ellis. You got his hand up.
I agree with you, Ms. Peña,
Oh.
regarding voting your conscience. And again, this is not about trashing somebody's reputation. I disagree with you, Ms. Brown, regarding that, because these are facts. This is something that actually happened. And again, I am here to look in the best interest of the organization, which is the school district. And I go back to, this is not personal. This is something that, again, we go back to being fiscally responsible for the organization. And I think that some of those funds can be used differently for better use of this organization. And I go back to his character, the way he has addressed some of you, and I should say myself as well. But this is not personal. I mean, I've dealt with this for 32 years as a police officer, dealing with individuals, with people like that. So it's nothing new. It doesn't hurt me. You know what? I'm gonna do what I feel is the right thing to do.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Drew?
I think
I'm sorry, Dr. Atkinson and then Ms. Drew.
Mr. Garcia, I beg your pardon, though. You say they're facts. I haven't seen one piece of paper yet. Has anybody else? Have you seen paper?
Oh my God, you're so stupid, Drew.
That Ms. Pettis-Reyes is saying, because I have not seen anything yet. I mean, I'm not saying that you're not being truthful, but I hesitate to say they're facts because I haven't seen anything. It's one thing to come in here and make some accusations and stuff, and I'm not saying they're not true, but I personally, Ms. Pena, have you seen anything?
No, ma'am, I've been asking.
Miss Dr. Tipton, have you seen anything? Because I haven't. I mean, have you seen something, Mr. Garcia? Because I haven't.
Yes. If I can respond, Ms. Peña?
Yes, please do.
Okay. Are we saying that we want to wait for the next board to come here and make a decision, or are you genuinely wanting to table this to see this information and then be prepared to make a decision? Because if that's what you're saying, then I'll give you the information.
I'm only quibbling with the word that there's facts and that I'm not knowing facts. I haven't seen facts.
Right.
And I'm not saying I'm not taking your word for it. I'm not getting into when I want to make a decision or anything, but for somebody to say that these are facts, unless you've seen something that I haven't seen, Mr. Garcia, I don't know what is a fact right now.
Are you asking? Are you asking for
And I
facts?
haven't seen facts. I haven't seen any paperwork
Okay, well
to
then
back
let's
up
table.
what you're saying.
Okay, great. Then let's go ahead and I'll make a motion to table this item, and I will go ahead. Actually, I think that it is something like this. It is incumbent upon the school district and not any one of us individually.
Don't table it.
Because it isn't personal, but because they are facts. I think that we should have direct Dr. Gutierrez to look into this and to get to the bottom of it. I mean, I don't think I should be Inspector
I guess
Gadget.
my question is, has Mr. Garcia been privy to things with you that none of the rest of us haven't? Because, sir, you're saying they're facts. Have you seen facts?
Well,
have you been
just
privy
to
to
answer
things
some
that
of
we
that,
have not been privy to?
Just something that has been brought to before. So apparently there's paperwork there. There's a paperwork trail. I just came on board. You've been working with the district for I don't know how many years.
We've never
I'm
had
sure.
paperwork. Never, Mr. Eddie. Ever.
Okay, well
I
then
haven't seen
I'm gonna go ahead and second the motion to table this for next week.
No!
So that we can have all this paperwork handed out to everyone. so that everyone has the opportunity to make that decision, that determination. So I'll go ahead
I'm
and
only saying that
second that
facts
motion
is
to
a
table.
strong word. You use the word facts. I'm just, my main response is, what facts have you seen that the rest of us haven't seen?
That's what money
just
does,
asking
folks.
About the facts. You're using the word facts,
Excuse
sir.
me, ladies and gentlemen, we have a motion on the floor. We have a second. Can we vote on it, or do you want to continue discussing, Ms. Dr. Ray?
Yeah, well, I would like to say something because that's the whole reason when I first started Ms. Reyes, I asked, that's what I was trying to get you to say, if you had something in writing that you could share with us, before, it got sideways, because you speak with so much authority and so much that, so have you checked with an attorney and they said that this is the way it is, or in your experience, this is the way it is?
In my experience, I know that there is a conviction. It's what I've seen. Again, like I already stated, all the paperwork is not readily available. It's a very old file. I don't wish to continue to discuss this only be faced with let's let the future board decide. I can put it to rest if that's what it is. I made my motion. If everybody was inclined to not support it, that's okay. I said I still want my motion to stand for the record. If you genuinely want to discuss it and figure it out, then that's fine. I'll go ahead and withdraw my motion. I'll amend it so that we can table the item until the next meeting, whether it be a special called meeting or
Ay,
meeting,
Laura,
whatever
Laura.
that is. I think it's important for somebody in an official capacity, as opposed to just me because of what I know or because I understand the system. I think that somebody should look into it. I think that it's something that Dr. Gutierrez can or should be able to do with the permission of the board.
Yes, and one of the things that you stated, because it was in 1985, and back then we didn't have a lot of stuff that was out there that was documented or downloaded or put in a USB or a DVD or what have you. We need to make sure that, and I understand what they're saying, we want to get all that documentation and give them the time. And I know that if we get the time and they go and they research and they make a request, we can get it in documentation from the actual courthouse, not someone saying, oh, this is what I got. So can we please vote on the motion?
I'll go ahead and second that amended motion.
I want to know what the motion is, please.
Oh my
To the
Lord.
October meeting?
Yeah, I've amended, or unless we have a special called meeting.
I say October so they can give enough time, because you're saying that you couldn't find anything and we're gonna have to get an employee from the courthouse, from the clerk's office to go literally and dig up boxes. Let's give them the time. Would you be okay with that?
It's fine.
Yes, it is, especially when you have to go through boxes. You know that in the courthouse. Okay, are we ready to vote for Ms. Pat? Do you have the motion? Can you say that on the record,
Exactly.
on the, can you turn your mic on when you say that?
Have them at the next scheduled board meeting. I have to put next board meeting, but I'll make for October meeting.
No.
I can't change it because we've already started to vote, but I'll make it part of the minutes.
Are we ready to vote?
I'm sorry, what can't you change?
I cannot take the vote back because we had already started voting, but for the minutes, I'll put down that it's for the October meeting.
No.
So for the record, it'll be for the October meeting.
Okay, so what exactly are we voting on right now, Pat? Read the
Motion to table until the next scheduled board meeting of October 2020, October 6th.
Oh no.
And if I may, Ms.
Because
Peña,
we had already started
Ms.
the
Peña,
vote.
Dr. Gutierrez, I will
Sir,
provide.
can you please hold? Please. I want to, okay, because we started, but she amended it to say on the October meeting, so why can't you correct that now?
I can start another vote if y'all want to start a new one.
Yes, can we please, because I remember, we're in 2020, everything's in the detail. Very much so detailed.
Oh my Lord.
I've been waiting to.
I apologize, I never saw you raise your hand.
I know that Ms. Perez Reyes did speak to me, and I'm also concerned. I'm concerned with the process, with the RFQ process, with the vendor approval process. And I know that you were, you took time and effort to request this information. And I apologize. I know it was 283 pages, and I think that we just got them today. But I do want to give you, the credit for the time and effort that you took, right? But so I did get to glance at this is after a 780-page agenda, for our regular agenda. So we got in addition 283 pages. But in there, and I just can't find it, and I should have bookmarked it. But in there, I would also beg for us to look at the RFQ process that was taking place back in, I guess, 2013 or 2017, 2019, whenever all the renewals. And I do know that there's a vendor approval process, and it talks about the background and the any felony convictions of the vendor and its employees. So it's critical that we also look at all the backup and the documents and ensure that I trust that our purchasing department did their due diligence, right? And I think everything's in there. I just don't recall what the outcome was of those items.
There's no affidavits attached.
Thank you. Ms. Peck?
My Lord.
The items? Could you please read it aloud?
Motion by Ms. Bettis, second by Mr. Garcia to amend motion to table agenda item 1X82 for the regular board meeting scheduled to be held on Tuesday, October 6, 2020.
May we vote?
Yes, ma'am.
Please vote.
I'm sorry, we're also granting Dr. Gutierrez permission, the authority for him to hire somebody that's going to look into this. This is not a project that I'm going to.
No, hire somebody. What? Hire somebody? We have attorneys all over the place. I mean, yeah, let Dr. Gutierrez. I mean,
Mr. Khan, would you say that out loud? What did you say?
I said that, we're gonna vote on this motion, put it over there. Dr. Gutierrez has just been told by us, see what you need to do. If he wants to use counsel, he can. Miguel Salinas is here. Whatever.
he's got Kevin O'Hanlon too. He's got Garza and Esparza. There's 3 different firms the district has. I don't
Yeah,
know
they're
how
all
to get
controlled by
that
Baltasar. Oh, you
That's my
stupids.
Ms. Brown. Not, obviously, I wouldn't expect for Mr. Baltasar to work on his own matter, to be clear.
I'm sorry, Mr. Balthasar? Did you have any comment?
No, I was gonna tell you that I have certified copies of those 2 cases. I have certified copies of all 3 of those cases and their judgments of dismissal, and dismissal with a conviction set aside. And I will provide those to Dr. Gutierrez. And I will also provide a certified background check from DPS the next week. So I do have all those certified. And the reason I have them, Ms. Pettis, is because I've already jumped those hoops. I jumped them to get my teaching certificate. I had to provide certified copies. I had to get it to get my gun license. And I had to get it to become a licensed attorney. And again, that was 36 years ago. And I'm not making excuses for it, but I will tell you that I've done a lot in 26 years as a licensed attorney. But this incident happened in 1983, and that was again 36 years ago. I remember every saint has a past, and every sinner has a future. And I believe that every single one of those cases that you pronounced today, all 3 of those cases, there is certified dismissals, and a dismissal with a conviction set aside. If not, I wouldn't be able to buy a weapon. I'll provide those to Dr. Gutierrez.
And sir, will you please get those up and verify them and make sure, and you get the assistance from the attorneys that you have, which is it Mr. Salinas or Mr. O'Hanlon, to make sure we verify every detail?
Is the vote done, by the way?
No, I'm waiting for Dr. Tipton.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, Minerva's so stupid.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to laugh.
Motion passes 7-0 unanimous.
Thank you. Moving on, please.
Recommend approval of the following general function items. 1, recommend the approval to authorize the superintendent of schools to submit the final
Guys,
asynchronous
I'm going to
plan
end this.
required by the Texas Education.
End this now. We're going to start our live at 9 o'clock.
Ms. Dr. Tipton, and then Ms. Dr. A. Okay.
Thank you, guys. Be back at 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock. Pathetic. Guys, I'll be back at 9 o'clock to wrap up what we just saw.
Question for this item.